Three, two, one. Blowjobs. Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for making it out here tonight. This makes me happy seeing everybody being at this big ass freaking table I built. Marvelous. This is the epilogue for our Witchlight campaign. We completed our primary objective last time in unfreezing Zybilna the Good, Zybilna of Prismeer, from being trapped in time. And now it's time to wrap up all the loose ends. So, Zybilna greets you and says, I suppose it's about time that I unfreeze everyone else, but I must say, I'm a little embarrassed about being caught off guard by the Hourglass Coven. I guess you can never be too careful with adoptive family.
Hey.
Well, I mean, at least my ace in the hole still came through for me.
You're welcome.
Well, no, all of you, of course.
No. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you figured it out by now, but I do love children. I can't abide seeing the little cuties come to harm, and I've been looking out for all of you for quite some time. He says, I certainly remember you two, she says, looking at Pip and Elena. I remember you two, the little swan maid girl, Elowin, and little Zachariah, whom my dearly departed sister tricked into betraying her. I see that you progressed from being a little white mouse to a white bunny, and now Harengon. But you haven't reclaimed your true form yet, have you?
No, I have not. Unfortunately, it escaped me. Zachariah, who's that?
I believe that was your name in a previous life. Mm-hmm. Says, I know a thing about you two. He says,
That's the same with Element?
Quite right. Element used to be your name as well, back when you were a human. I believe your father was a blacksmith. Was it Briarwood? Is that the name? It's been a while.
Feels pretty somehow, but it's kind of misty.
That happens with reincarnation. I'm well familiar with it myself. He says, anyway, I'm certain at some point that a woman possessed of a royal heart can judge our dear Pip and judge whether or not he's completed his atonement. But
I'm not sure if I'm worthy.
Don't disrespect my friend. I will bite you, and then I will hug you. You're certainly worthy. You've done so much for us.
Is it enough?
Well, I wonder what our esteemed Witchlight monarch Picala would say. Has this little Pip learned his lesson?
Okay. Yes, because don't argue or I'll bonk you.
I wouldn't dare argue with a Witchlight monarch.
Good.
No, a Harengon of great wisdom, I see. Well, we'll come back to that a little bit later, I think. But Pickle, you were probably too young to remember, but back when you were just a curious little green bean, you must have taken a spill off a cliff when playing in that freak blizzard that swept over the land. If you like, you can make an insight check.
Well, 18 is probably a flat roll.
18 minus 10.
No, straight roll.
Straight roll? Oh, okay. So when she mentions a freak blizzard, you're something about the way she says it. You're kind of wondering how she would know about there being a freak blizzard. Like, aren't most blizzards just like, big things? Was she mucking around with magic? You don't know. Seems sus. Anyway, she continues. Don't be too hard on Melon when you see her, though.
What? Oh.
She says she was big as a house with a meal when she lost you, and if you hadn't gotten lost, I'm sure Raoul would have become lost forever. You were the best thing to ever happen to that man.
Wait.
Speaking of being lost in a storm, Zalric, I'm glad you recovered your sense of direction from Skabatha. The last time I saw you, you were just a poor little elfling scout trainee who got lost in the rain. You cheered right up when you saw a cupcake for the first time, though, and you looked so sweet where I left you dozing under that giant mushroom on the way back to your village.
What? Seems vaguely familiar.
I'm sure it does. Well, I'm truly sorry about what happened with the Jabberwock, but I learned my lesson. And she pats a Snicker Snack at her hip. And he's much better behaved now, don't you think?
Much.
as if she senses Stuart scoffing about the Jabberwock as he stands in pools of its blood. She says, she looks at Stuart and says, "Oh, I know you're not a fan of big bad beasties, Stuart. So you're not wrong to want to give them a good Snickers slap from time to time. But when we first met, I was hunting a chimera for spell components when the darn thing gave me the slip and went on a terrible rampage. By the time I caught up to it, there was only a single hungry boy left in his village, trying desperately to figure out how to feed himself. But together, we picked some herbs and mushrooms, dug up some turnips, and maybe carved a flank of mutton off that mean chimera's old haunch. When the soldiers arrived, they were so impressed by your stew that the name stuck, didn't it? Stuart. If only I could have made you proof against petrification, maybe that would have saved us both from Bavlorna's betrayal.
Man, kind of delivered me at the right time.
Yeah, she says, well, I really do wish I could have landed a lightning bolt on Skabatha like I did that terrible beastie. Or Bavlorna, rather. Voltan and Veneto. Hungry little boys seem like quite the common theme with you lot. Young Voltan sure worked up an appetite running from those big bullies back in the day. They weren't nearly as scary once Auntie Zabilna turned them into piglets, though, were they? Rude little things giving you a hard time just because your parents passed on their good looks. It all worked out in the end, though, we went to that candy shop in between you stuffing your cheeks and pockets, and you met that little redhead cutie, didn't you?
Yeah.
What was her name? Cordelia?
Yeah.
I do.
Why do you bring that up?
Well, I do hope to have an invite to the wedding at some point.
Your calend's away.
She likes you.
Cordelia's gone.
Gone?
Because she liked me.
Oh.
Oh no. Was that my sister's doing? That's
Well, actually, it was more Benita's mother's doing.
Well, not exactly.
Veneto. What did Pravima do this time?
Well, this time it wasn't her fault.
Veneto.
No. There was somebody shot a bolt at one of the horses. Well, she was in the midst of doing something she probably shouldn't have been doing. We were trying to escape from the city, and somebody shot a bolt at one of the horses drawing a carriage, and it went out of control. And
so someone was trying to assassinate your mother again? Really? What was that? Like the third time that week?
It's not. Yeah, probably.
How bad's your mom?
She's not the best.
Ooh.
Well, I suppose these things do happen. That's unfortunate.
I was talking about the other gal. She likes you.
Who?
Oh, you mean little Pauline?
Yes.
She likes me?
Well, she certainly is quite energetic.
For you bad. If I can tell that.
That could be a good thing for you.
We really talk about it like that.
I didn't think we kept trying to sit you guys next to each other.
Well, she just wanted me to sit with my friend. Not really the happy type.
We didn't notice.
Zabilna just motions Let's see, black armor, stark white hair, a bloody red surcoat. I mean, what's not to like?
Yeah, exactly.
I always thought you were a very nice person.
You let me lay on your shoulders.
I don't care if you a little bit, but
In the good way.
yeah.
In the good way.
Well, I'm glad, Rabbit.
Sorry you're not happy. Is there anything that we can do to help make that better?
No.
Well, I have an idea on that matter, but let's come back to that in a moment or two. It says, it's a shame what you miss when you're frozen in time. It was everything I could do just to send a few dream visions to Madrick and lure this rascal, Veneto, someplace where he could do some good. Now, Veneto, unlike the others, you didn't exactly have to struggle growing up, did you?
No.
Well, I mean, beyond your own predilection for self-inflicted suffering, I mean.
I got better.
That said, your father certainly has a way with his words, so I couldn't very well let his little guy drown in a river after getting beat senseless in a drug den, now could I? At least that episode scared that good-for-nothing Gomgrim off until he straightened himself out.
There's a lot more fun after that, yes, true.
Yes, well, hell knows, Faycraft doesn't have the same kick when it comes to dwarves.
You knew my father?
Yes, I do.
I hear he's
know
floating
him
around here somewhere.
Indeed. I believe he was taking a nap upstairs last I saw him.
Uh-huh.
In your chambers?
No. Not in my chambers, no. But anyway, we can come back to that later. That's neither here nor there, cutie. And at last she turns to Wexley and oh, I almost didn't see you there. I don't believe we've met, but I can't say I'm surprised to see someone else here instead of young Lord Alden. Mrs. Trifolium really hasn't been all there since her dear Bert passed on. Still, there were supposed to be 8 of you, and 8 there are. Welcome to Prismeer, Master Harangon. I am the once and again queen of this domain. You may call me Zabilna. And who might you be?
I am Wexley.
Wexley. Well, that is a pleasant sound. Wexley.
A fun one.
And how did you come to know the rest of these cuties?
They seemed rather lost at the Witchlight Carnival and in desperate need of somebody to heal them. So I took up that knack.
Well, that definitely sounds about right. I
have a knack for finding trouble. Don't know why.
Trouble?
It surely is not my doing.
Indeed. And
Now,
be nice to your Witchlight. Be nice to your Witchlight monarch. That title carries some weight around here, you know.
I still got a hammer, and you still got kneecaps.
Scary.
He climbed up on her shoulders.
Let's see here.
Swing down than it is up.
Well, anyway, coming back to your problem with Cordelia, in gratitude for all you've done for myself and for Prismeer, I am prepared to perform a single casting of a wish spell. And unlike what some of those genies are afraid to get their fingers dirty with, I'm quite happy to bring back the dead, if that's on the table. And in this case, I feel like I insist.
Really?
Mm-hmm. With a wink, she says, "Don't worry." She says, "Don't worry. I know all about." She says, "Don't worry. I know all about mortals and their heart's desires. I can handle this." And with a wink, she leans forward, one hand on her hip, the other upturned lightly, and says, "I wish for Valten's lady love to be reunited with him, here and now, alive and well." Throughout the palace, a tremendous wind arises, sparks of magical energy cascade through the air, and you see the mist-wreathed silhouette of a woman clad in armor standing atop a dais, sword in hand. With a clash of thunder, the mist is blown away, and you see standing before you a young woman with a veritable mane of frizzy red hair, scarcely contained by a headband. Let's see, which window did that open on? Oh, wait, Isabella. This girl, her freckled face and skin have developed a tan from long hours in the sun, and her cheeks and arms are leaner and more toned than when last you saw her waiting tables at the Grand Carnelian. Almost in unison, Feline and Zybilna exclaim, "What the hell?" Before you hear a banging from within the platform that Feline appeared on, which you realize to be an inexpensive pine coffin with wilted calla lilies on the lid.
What? Laying on top of a casket.
So
really weird.
Feline hops down and looks around, confused, and she, from within the casket, you can hear a muffled yet familiar voice calling out, "Oh, Paul, is that you? Come on, aren't we a little old for this now? Let me out of the trunk already."
Busted open.
Let's just put her on one side, and we'll put Cordelia on the other side, and get Mike's face out of the way.
Yeah, never mind.
Oh, God.
I can hide it pretty quickly.
So when you finally get the lid off, Feline reaches down and helps her to her feet, a beautiful young redhead with clear skin and long silky tresses, much unlike her own frizzy mane. The waifish young woman doesn't even have time to look perplexed by the flowers falling off her blouse or her gown before Feline shouts, "Cordy!" and pulls her into a big hug, tears rolling down her cheeks. After tentatively hugging her friend back, Cordelia looks at her long white gown and the dirty box before cocking her head to look squarely at Voltan.
Voltan has a little bit of tears in his eyes.
She says, "Did you two bury me or something? What the heck?"
You're alive.
Well,
yeah,
now.
I think I've been that way for a while, haven't I? Since I was born.
Without speaking, he goes and goes and hugs her.
Aww. So she's patting you on the back, and while her question about having been buried hangs in the air, Zybilna blushes and laughs to herself, wagging a finger at Voltan as Feline stands there scratching her head, and she says, "Why, Voltan, I'd expected something like this out of Veneto, but you?"
What?
She says, "Oh my, there's certainly no denying that you have a type now, is there?"
Yeah, I like redhead.
When you say that, the two young ladies share a quizzical glance before looking at their fairy godmother, who's now pointedly twirling a finger in her own hair, and she says, "Don't worry, you cuties will make for the most darling throuple this side of Elysium."
Throuple? What?
In unison, the girls' jaws go slack, and their gaze snaps to you. Cordelia pushes you back, and she and Feline both yell, "Voltan!"
What?
And in the next moment, a dead man was attacked by a pair of red-haired vixens.
That's how my story ends.
Well, Voltan's dead now. Yeah.
savage.
Poor.
What?
I've seen jaguars do worse, but
Not by much.
Yeah. On the ground, getting kissed by two beautiful ladies.
Yeah.
Is that what he meant by attack?
Not in front of everybody.
Oh well, what you gonna do? Let's see.
I think I might have a stamina potion in here for you. Hold on a second.
So while Voltan is getting torn limb from limb on the floor, you hear a pounding again. This time coming from the doors leading into the ballroom from the invisible bridge that issues from the throne room. Let's see. The door opens as Zybilna says, "Just a moment. I think I probably need to unfreeze everyone else around here." And she goes over to her cauldron and let's see if I have the incantation she's supposed to recite.
do you need any help?
He says, well, actually, if you could go and unlock that door and see who it is, that would be wonderful.
Right over to the door.
Where is the info on the cauldron?
Lexley. She's looking that up when I need to have a talk.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Alright. I'm not the proudest to say this, but I do love Valena. And realize now that I need to let her go to improve myself, so whatever you want to do with her, it's up to you now.
Oh, now I believe you completely misunderstand my intentions. Yeah, no, I am here to help.
What was you touched her in the middle of the fight?
I was trying to protect her and make her invisible.
And the talk? Like, what?
What?
Brother, I'm asexual. I don't...
Oh. I've completely misread the situation.
Oh my god!
I'm so sorry. No, it's fine. Wow. This entire time I've held such contempt for you in my heart, and it's just a huge weight off my shoulders now. I have no idea.
I'm glad to help.
Come here. Come here.
I'm going to look up at you and be like, the only thing more awkward than the conversation is the fact that I'm hugging you at your waist.
It's okay, just let me know.
I'm trying to scrounge up some
I
soup.
need this more than you right now.
That's fine. I'm going to grab your ass.
That is far too much fluff. Far too much fluff. Oh my gosh. So, while all that's going on, Zybilna incants something over top of her cauldron. 8 cats perch atop 8 dead attending. 8 lizards flee from 8 rats scavenging. 8 toads climbing meet 8 dead and falling. 8 snakes sneak under 8 bats screaming. 8 eyes open, always dreaming. All on the cauldron that is ever seeming. And as she completes the incantation, you suddenly notice all the people around you in the ballroom just kind of lurch and are freed from the stasis. And outside those doors it sounded like someone was knocking, suddenly you hear a "Oh!" and a thud. Oh. And a few moments later, the doors open, and you see that paladin who had been hanging effortlessly in the air, in the same way that bricks don't, is now standing there adjusting his helm. He's handsome, dark hair, a goatee, blue surcoat, and upon seeing you, he says, hello, I am Strongheart of Valor's Call. We were here to apprehend the League of Malevolence and tracked them to the palace when we were duped. May I come in?
Yes, they're Vandals.
No, they're behind you.
So from behind Actually, from behind you guys, you hear a...
You pipe down.
And looking over, you can see that cleric, the redheaded cleric who was in the yellow surcoat, Mercian, she's over at the side of the room, and she says, "Oi, Strongheart! I think I found Kellic over here. Looks like he's half dead, but the sucker was feigning death. Can you believe it? What a
I can fix that.
What a cheeky coward!" And from further beyond that, there's suddenly a huge blast of icy energy from the conference room that's behind, as Ringelrun, who is way back there, just in the initial stages of casting a cone of cold, apparently, completes his spell, and you just see him walk out a moment later like, well, I guess that took care of the League of Incompetence now, didn't it? And looking over and seeing Mercian, he says, "Is that Kellic? Let's finish him off. I'm tired of that guy." And Strongheart says, "No, none of that. They must face justice back in the city of Greyhawk, as is our charter. There will be no murder on my watch."
I suggest something.
Yes.
Turn around.
Yeah.
We do not operate that way, young hair child. Well, I'm not sure what your kind is. I've never encountered one of you before. Forgive me.
That's perfectly fine. But oh my God, what is that?
He says, "I am not falling for that. Not falling for it."
Bill,
Well, that
Lord
may not
knows
be-
Yes, indeed.
Well, that may not be real, but that is.
Wait, what?
Bonk.
So, as Strongheart is putting some anti-magic manacles on them, you do see that the knocking at the other door in here was Thinnings, who is escorting Elkhart and Molliver. While you see another figure who looks familiar was at the central doors to the palace from which Strongheart entered, and it was Zabilna's froggy demon flappy boy butler. He's back in frog form again.
Oh, hi.
He says, "Hello. So nice to see you again.
So with you is the real you?
Wouldn't you like to know?"
That's why I asked.
I suppose that's a fair point. Is that man currently being murdered on the floor over there by two red feral lamias?
He'll be fine.
I'm not sure what's happening over there.
It's an assault of types,
Ah,
but it will not end in murder.
very
Even
good.
if it does, they'll be fine.
Yeah. The murder
I'll bring him back.
He says, He says, you might be too young to watch this sort of thing.
I'm just gonna step behind you. Like, I ain't looking.
What the hell is that? To like get it made love to death and then revivified to get it happen again.
Like a remnant.
Yeah. We're going to need more wishes up in here. Yeah, death by snooze too, indeed.
I remember that.
Yeah, Feline has definitely been working out while you were off adventuring.
Yep, so strong. Help!
You got this.
Nope.
Okay.
Everybody just turns their back on him.
Yep.
Nope.
So Zabilna just says, maybe they need a little bit of privacy for now. And she snaps her fingers, and the three of them are teleported away to some place else in the castle. You guys end up finding yourselves in one of the well-appointed guest rooms and fall onto a big 4-poster bed.
Wait, ladies, hold on, calm down. Wait, hold on. No. The face just get more and more red. No. Hold on now.
Yeah, Feline comments. She says, "I'm getting." She says, I know how to wear armor now, and I know how to doff it as well." And if you guys were upstairs, you would hear a lot of clattering going on up there right about now.
Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry. Are there other people frozen in the palace?
Well, actually, everyone should be unfrozen now at this point.
Noise coming from.
Oh, from up the western stairwell. I think that's probably to be expected at this point. I wouldn't think anything of it. I'm sure it's fine. So while she says, I know. How about some refreshments? And as she's
thing with clotted cream, just gonna love it.
Vanilla.
oh yes. She says, how do you like it with the jam on top or the clotted cream after?
Just mix it together. It's phenomenal.
Oh.
It's actually pretty good.
You guys did well to pick up this one.
You picked us up?
Either way. So while you guys are discussing this, Demitas, the animated spoon, is riding in on a cart along with some animated teapots and plates and forks that begin setting themselves on the conference table in the back of the room, so that you guys can enjoy refreshments. Give me perception checks.
Oh boy.
Those of you who are still
11.
Called it before I saw the roll, just so that we can talk about it.
Nothing.
Hey, I see a D4.
What's up? How about you?
it's like it's coming right at you.
You're not there.
I'm not.
19 plus perception.
And stars.
Yeah, mine's 19 plus, whatever.
I synced with the guidance because I rolled a 6, but I rolled a 4 on my D4 and an 8.
All right.
18.
Pip and Valena are able to hear over the raucous banter from the others. The pixies who are escorting the plates and everything are fussing to themselves about the fact that Zabilna's birthday cake appears to have been molested by a large pair of hands, and they have sworn vengeance upon those responsible for this calamity.
It's not my hands.
Benito, you notice something else. One of the pixies flutters over to you with a cup of tea, and she says, "Here you go, my lord." And this pixie looks very familiar to you.
Oh no.
It's Skyla. She holds it out to you and she says,
I'm going to take the cup. Wink.
She says, I think, she says, perhaps you need to be excused to go check on your father. There's a small matter that we have to attend to upstairs.
I wouldn't call it small, no.
Insight.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes. Wait. Right away. Absolutely. Just let me check out what goes on here.
So,
You go?
while Voltan is getting unquestionable things done to him in another part of the palace, the pint-sized Skyla sort of tugs your lapel and pulls you aside and says, "Hey there, lover. There's that little issue upstairs. The Lamias in Zabilna's bedroom. We need to get rid of them before she goes in there and they see her. Pretend you want to find your father."
If you'll excuse me, I'm going to go find my father. I'll be returning shortly.
And Skyla says, "Oh, Your Highness, I would be happy to show him the way."
You are way too big for that.
It's probably a glamour. Don't worry about it.
So she says, so Zabilla says, yes, of course, please. Go tell Fabio I say hello.
He was in your chambers.
This palace has many chambers, my dear.
They're all yours.
Precisely. When you're the queen, they're all yours.
Get a kick in the shin.
She says seriously though, what good is being a powerful archfey who lives in a palace called Heart's Desire if you can't give in to your own desires every now and then.
Are you trying to convince me?
No, not really, but
I don't think so.
it's not like Pravamus had any further use for him anyway since you were born.
Is this a rhetorical question, or do you actually want an answer?
That's up to you.
I don't
just
know.
can't-
You're the one with the experience? Tell us about it.
A gentleman never asks and a lady never tells.
Well, I'm definitely not a gentleman.
But I'm a lady.
Oh, well.
Anyway, take the western stairwell and he should be in the white room on the left. Well, unless he's flirted his way past the door to my suite again so that he can practice chess in my boudoir.
Uh-huh.
So, you guys end up...
Yes.
Well, maybe you can give me some tips.
Maybe. Let's see. I
About
believe...
the Queen's Gambit.
He'd be screwed if that's the case. Not in a good way. Let's see. Let me bring up the map of the palace. Let's see. D&D... No, not D&D Beyond. Roll 20.
Find a random piece of something that's not that hard and throw it in
All
the
right,
back of your head.
I can't over the table. What was the Lamias again? I don't remember that.
Some stupid
What?
stuff.
Lamias, I don't remember this.
Oh, you'll find out in a moment.
Okay.
You don't.
You'll find it out in a moment. Launch game. Actually,
You did.
if you like, you can.
Oh, yeah, take care of the llamas. I did have that written. I have no idea.
Actually, go ahead and give me a couple knowledge or a couple arcana checks at advantage. You can roll with advantage because of the fact that Skyla is helping you.
All right. All right, I'll do both of these. All right, already. So that is a 6 and a 12, and is Arcana. I don't think I get any pluses on Arcana.
You should.
You should.
Let me see here.
At the very least, it should be your intelligence.
Yeah, you've got a +3, I show.
Oh, there's +3.
Yeah.
15.
All right, 15. So, you recall that llamas are vain, hedonistic, and wicked monsters known to waylay and ensorcel ensorcel mortals that they find.
Mike, your audio, we're echoing.
Yeah, it sounds like we're echoing a little bit through your speakers, Mike. Okay. So they prize beauty and strength above all else. And they particularly enjoy corrupting innocents into doing their bidding. From what the legends describe them as looking like, the bottom half of their body is that of a lion or some other great cat, and the top half of them is of a beautiful or handsome human.
Not
So.
already corrupted.
That's what I'm saying. And not particularly strong.
Yeah, not strong. You already corrupted. We're good. That should be fairly boring to them.
Like she wants to take a note to deal with that.
Let's see. Zoom out here. That's not the map I'm looking for. Let's drag this over here. Embiggen.
Oh, we need somebody who's strong and naive. Hey, would you like to come with me?
Wow.
Huh?
Would you like to come with me?
Why is no login?
I might need your assistance. Not right now, no.
Hey.
If you want to stay for that, you're fine to stay, but not right now.
I think roll 20 might be having some issues here.
Oh,
Just a second.
But like, okay. Bye.
Why is that so big?
Just wants to make sure you don't get up to no good.
That's a little bit better. There. And then this.
Hello,
Hey.
hello.
Hello, hello.
All right, I got strong and innocent coming with me.
That was my reaction.
Listen.
All right, let's put I need to get you back on the map here. Where are you? Journal. PCs. Bonito.
Oh yeah, me too. Hold on. Let's do this. Because I'm still level 7 on here. Let's fix that.
Why is this not... Oh, stop.
Alright, we'll retro.
Oh, that's right. I have to enforce you. Can you tell it's been like a month and a half since I've had to use Roll20? There we go.
Retcon.
Redcon. Yeah, we'll
Redcon.
Only don't have to come with me.
I'm with you.
Alright.
She's with you now.
All right.
It's there. It's happening.
Yes.
It's happening.
Yes,
It's happening. Right. Strongheart is no longer falling off the map, but that's okay. You can stay there for now. All right, so you head upstairs with Chibi Skylight guiding you along. Was anyone going with Benito or not? Pickle. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
Yeah. Tired of fun right through.
Piccolo's coming with me.
Why you gotta use the name? Like, why?
So
There's something wrong with the name?
from
Turn a darker shade of green.
wow. So from what was described, she said that your father was she had last left him in the white room on the left, but there's a couple doors on the left, and you're not sure which one of those it could be. There's one over here, there's one over here, and one over here.
Is there one that has a particular sounds of maybe 3 people or so?
Gonna do a perception check to see if I notice anything.
Well, you walk down the hall, having a look, and the door to this room is open, as is this one. Oh no! So this white room over here looks like it's empty.
Okay.
But it does. You do see some men's clothes neatly laid out on the bed, and there's a couple of bathrobes hanging from a hook from the back of the door. You also note that there's a very expensive looking lute laying on the desk to the left of the door, along with several pages of sheet music. It looks like someone was composing music. So, knowing that your father was a well-acclaimed troubadour in his day, this seems like it's his room, but there's no one in here.
He's not in here, but his clothes are.
You poke your head back out.
Oh boy.
Make it pop.
And are looking, and as you're looking around as you go, you pass another room, and as you walk past, you note that this room, it's a purple room. There's a cute little gnome girl with fluffy purple hair and freckles who's in there. She's just kind of lying on the floor, kicking her feet in the air, and she's drawing in a coloring book.
You didn't.
You remember this or another characters first?
It's my character from our Pathfinder game.
Oh, yeah.
And you see, when you see her, you kind of look over and see what she's drawing, and it looks like a coloring book. And on the page that she's on, it looks like there's a man made of gray rock with white quartz hair who appears to be doing a cannonball off a castle's parapets onto an unsuspecting bandit. And a few feet away, there's a bookish elf in a pale green dress with white hair, and she's casting a shield spell as she's bracing for the inevitable tidal wave of gibs that is about to stain her dress.
Oh my god, Seraphine.
I'm going to say, hello, miss. Oh. Now, aren't you excitable? What is it that you're drawing there?
Father.
Your brother? Who's that?
Lauren.
Lauren? Oh, well, it's nice to meet you. What is your name?
No.
No. Pleasure, I'm Benito.
Bless you.
Gesundheit. I am looking for my father. He is a human, I believe. And it's floating around here somewhere. Does music. Not floating, technically. Well, they may float. I don't know. I've never met the man.
I mean, how do you know he did?
So have you seen anybody like that around here?
Just you.
Just me?
But you're floating.
No, don't float. Well, I could float.
Float.
Let's see.
I think you can float.
So nobody like that's around here.
Have I seen them?
Yeah.
You're quite engrossed in your coloring book. It's a good coloring book. It's almost as if all the pages in it seem like they're specifically geared to memories you have. They seem oddly familiar to you, even though you can't really remember having ever done any of these things yet. But it's like somebody wrote you into like a comic book or something, and then made a coloring book out of it.
Hey, Pickle, come over here and take a look at this coloring book.
You flirt with somebody else?
Not at the moment, but won't you take a look at this coloring book? I think you'll be impressed with the artwork.
That's pretty cool.
What's your name again? What's your name again, sir? Dear?
No.
Nell. Nell, this is Pickle. Pickle, this is Nell.
Ooh. You just like hold the teeth.
You two seem oddly similar for some reason.
Now just bounced on the bed.
You don't see your father in here, but there is another door at the end of the hallway to the north.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Nell. I'm going to keep searching.
All right. At the north end of the hallway, you find a door, a double door, that's sculpted to look like the head of a cat. As you approach, it says, "Why, hello there."
Hello to yourself.
Bye.
Yeah. Sorry, reflex.
She says, you look kind of familiar, but your ears are more pointed now. How did that happen?
Well, I'm looking for my father.
Oh.
Yes. Would you happen to know where he may be?
I do, but I have a few questions of my own first. Which has more power, the sword or the quill?
I would say the quill.
Oh, do you have such a powerful quill on you?
Do we have? Do you still have the?
No, we leave it to a girl.
It's to the
Oh,
goat.
no. A goat has my quill.
Oh, well, that's too bad. She says, "Oh, so do you think we're at the mercy of fate, or do we create our own destiny?"
Do I have to give that answer?
He says, "Oh,
I don't know.
don't-
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes I go off and do things, and sometimes I go off and do other things.
well,
I don't know.
that's boring."
Sometimes I think it's fate, and sometimes I think I'm just in charge of my own life. I can't tell.
Wow, you gave him a crisis.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that is why Zabilna put me here. She says, "I have another question. What do you think is more important, intelligence or wisdom?"
I am neither smart enough or wise enough to answer that question.
Oh,
No.
so you're humble and also know your own limits.
Half of that's true.
Well, that ain't half bad, I suppose. Go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
So dang it, total.
12 plus
Yeah, go get.
8.
She says, "All right, I'll let you pass this time.
Thank you, my dear.
But next time I expect us to have a proper conversation."
You gotta talk a conversation very nice.
Well, we need to work on that silver tongue of yours. What now that you've gotten the spoon out of it anyway. Ta-ta.
Ta-ta.
Moving past, you find yourselves in a long hallway that runs east to west. You note that the door at the east end of the hallway is open at present. The others are all closed.
You could stop and ask for directions.
Should have passed the door.
Yep.
Too late.
Too late indeed. So, whither would you like to wander?
Perception check. Did I hear anything?
Yes, you can faintly hear a man's voice along with two women's voices coming from the open door at the east end of the hallway.
Ah, let's go that way.
Do we have to?
Yes, you're coming with me.
So Skylar says, yes, that is Zabilna's bedroom. Now, be on your best behavior. We can't let them know who Zabilna really is. That they mustn't know that. We do not want their lord, the demon Prince Grazit, coming after Zabilna, because that would mean he's coming after us as well.
We can't let the Lamias know?
Correct.
The Zabilna's already awake and all that stuff.
Yes. Well, that doesn't mean that they're not. That doesn't mean that they're not chasing her.
Okay. So you don't want me to tell her she's unfrozen?
Just don't use her real name.
We don't want them to know that Zabilna and Igwilv and Tasha are all the same person. Igwilv and Tasha are not Zabilna. Understand?
I see her like grabbing.
She's holding you by your ears right now.
If you hadn't mentioned that, I probably wouldn't have remembered.
You are hopeless.
Just now.
But now that's all I can think about. Thank you.
You're impossible. Pickle, I mean, I'm not sure if it would help or hurt our chances here, honestly.
Let's go.
I suppose it can't hurt. Well,
It'll hurt me! Let's go see what the noise is all about.
All right. So, you proceed into a room at the end of the hallway.
Well, at least one of the rooms.
I'm happy that my other me got a cameo. And my other me was in a coloring book.
But we should have brought her to...
Why?
Because it'd be funny. What?
Is that his dad? Oh,
Hey!
Yeah.
Now I see where you get it from.
Oh.
Aww.
Hey.
So cute. Ready for bed? Yeah, this is late, isn't it?
Your jammies on.
Just got his face.
that's why he's getting all the ladies.
So, this spacious bedroom is lightly furnished. An oval mirror in a blackwood frame is mounted on the east wall, and a chess set with jet and bloodstone playing pieces rests on top of an octagonal table in the southwest corner. It's flanked by two comfortable high-backed chairs. A four-poster bed with black silk sheets and drapes stands in the middle of the room. Lounging on the bed are two creatures, each with the lower body of the lion and the head and upper torso of a beautiful woman. Trapped in between them is a handsome human man with sandy blonde hair, clear blue eyes, and a day's worth of stubble gracing his jaw. Upon noticing your entry, the man studies your features for a moment before recognition dawns on his face. Nemisatra, Trizian, as I was telling you, this is Zabilna's and my son, who has been living in the real world these past few decades.
No, wait, what?
Look, go on, son. Why don't you introduce yourself to these lovely Lamia ladies? Give me an insight check.
What about that? That was a 12? And I think it's just a straight roll. Where's insight? Is the insight on here? I don't know. 3. 15.
15. Okay. So, you get the...
It's got the last rolls in yet. The whole damn thing.
My jaw just hit the floor like, ooh.
So, you get the impression that Fabio Leone is in a bit of a pickle here, and he's trying not just to save his own skin, but yours, and that you might want to play along with this ruse of his.
Yes, I am Benito, and this is my father.
Let me bring up some artwork of these lovely Lamia ladies.
Your father, nice lamias you have.
That is my father.
What nice lamias you have. I didn't know that.
Skylar keeps punching. Skylar's like punching you in the back of the head. They are not llamas.
Notes he put us.
What's it? Lamia.
So the lamia with the darker body and the long black ponytail stretches, and her sharp black claws are plainly visible as she does so. She says, "I see that beauty runs in your family. That is good. Very good.
You have a lovely tail yourself.
Ew.
Tell me, man-child, what do you know of the witch Queen Igwilv? Our lord, Prince Grazit, has been seeking to entreat her to conversation."
Step on his foot.
Igwil?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I know what Igwil.
He says, "Oh, if that's the case," she says, "why would a fairy queen have a whole wardrobe full of the trappings of witchcraft and deviltry if she is not actually Igwilv the Witch Queen?" Give me a history check.
Very.
Maybe she's kinky.
That is 8.
And you can make all of these checks at advantage because Skyla is helping you.
19.
19? Okay. So
17 and 17.
Oh, Venito's the only one Venito and
Oh,
Pickle
okay.
are the only ones in this scene. You're if am I showing the initiative tracker right now in OBS?
Yep.
Yeah. So I've got everyone's vignettes aligned on the initiative tree. So you come up in a little bit, but not quite yet.
Okay,
Cool.
I thought I was traipsing along with the group. That's okay.
No, that's cool. So you recall this thing from Elsamar called Unsele's Eve, when the world is closest to the Shadowfell. And it occurs to you that just because the Sele and Unsele courts don't get along publicly doesn't mean that the Pumpkin King's Supper isn't the costume ball of all costume balls each year. So obviously, it would be disrespectful for an archfey to show up in their normal vibe when the theme is more dance macabre than kind of a witchy vibe rather than fey splendor.
You can't wear the same thing every year.
You cannot wear the same thing every year.
What evil paw that would be.
So
Can you
I
imagine?
will attempt. I will.
You all that out?
I will fill all that out, being my charming as I can be, and deceptive as I can be.
Okay, go ahead and your choice of either deception or persuasion.
Let's see.
Which one is the highest?
And I'm like, ooh.
They're both +8.
Nice.
Nice.
And I get this advantage or not?
Advantage.
Sorry. Where's the other one? There we go.
Yeah, Skyla's sort of whispering some of this stuff into your head.
Oh no. Oh no.
2 1s.
2 1s.
Wow. Now improbable.
Double fail?
2 1s.
You got
Plus 8.
You just had to say
do
something.
you got a reroll or something?
Do you have inspiration? You might.
Well, I had inspiration from last time.
Yeah, you can use that if you want.
Alright, the reroll one of these.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Please, rolling. Not at the same time.
I can't see that. Only one. No. Got a 16 plus 8.
Okay, that's much better.
Double ones. Oh my god.
That's what we hear about.
Double critical fail.
That's pretty awesome. Only you. Only you.
Coffee in there.
Oh, yeah, both might be a little bit more.
Actually, it might be the person who sits in that seat, because in the game I've been playing on Sundays, the guy who was sitting in that seat, he rolled like 3 or 4 nat ones in a single session. About killed my character because the other DM uses like 2nd edition style, you hurt your friends style critical fumbles.
Oh no!
Yeah, that was rough.
We can't all be like.
So yeah, that seat might be cursed, Landon. I'm just saying.
Can't all be like.
There you go.
All right.
Might be cursed.
Well, maybe so I'll switch places with you. We got all the 20s, so I'll take.
Yeah, there you go.
Take this one.
So the Lamias kind of look at each other and they just kind of shrug their shoulders at that and like, so it's like, I suppose that makes sense. It would be rather gauche to show up in the same dress year to year. You make a fair point about the Unsele court, but the other one who has like the dreadlocks, her hair done up in dreads, she stands up, taking her weight off of Fabio, and you hear a gasp of relief from him, because I mean these are big gals.
Yeah.
They stand about 10 feet tall when they stand up.
Wow.
They the other one, whose name is Trizian, she stands up and she points to the chess set in the corner. She says, "And what of that chess set? Igwil's passion for the game is well known to our lord, the mighty demon prince Grazit, as it is to all of his underlings."
My dad likes to play chess.
So, are they the only people that play chess? I doubt that very seriously.
No. Fabio actually pipes up at that point and he says, "I beg your pardon, but that is mine, obviously. Any Burke can play strip poker with some wench in a tavern, but with a Fey Queen, something a bit more elegant was called for. If you must know, it was a gift from a lonely Gynosphinx." And at this point, he's stood up and he's walked over to you, and he's fully dressed, and he elbows you in the ribs and says he whispers, "That's the lady kind." A Gynosphinx, he says.
Oh.
Gynosphinx, yes.
Gyno?
He says, "Yes, if you must know, that was a gift from a lonely Gynosphinx, who had a particular itch I helped to scratch. It's not for nothing that my family name is Leone, you know," which the Lamias kind of cross their arms and look none too amused at that revelation. He says, play your paw right, and I could probably show you luscious Lamia ladies a thing or two. Zibby wouldn't mind. She might even watch."
She seems like the type.
And at this point, the two Lamias look at each other, and one of them seems to be casting a spell. If you care to take a reaction, I don't know if you've got counterspell or anything else.
I believe you do have counterspell.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think I do have it.
If you leveled up, so you should have at least a spell slot to cast it.
I think I do.
And meanwhile, Pickle's like, okay, it's getting
I
glowy.
think I have it memorized too.
I'm gonna just sort of like, just roll some dice. So you're the reason he's such a
Yep, I do.
schmuck.
Yep. I got counterspell.
All right.
Memorized.
And okay, did you want to cast that? It's kind of obvious when you cast a counterspell, but you can do that if you want. And anyway, the Lamia cast a spell, and you're not sure what it is. And she says, and what was this Sphinx's name anyway? And your father says, "Well, a gentleman never tells, but her name," and it seems like he's been compelled somehow. He says,
My dear, you do have a lovely tell as well. You both are such lovely
he
ladies.
says, "Don't interrupt your father, if that's what he truly is." And
Oh yeah, that's his dad. Trust me.
Definitely my father.
your father finishes answering the Sphinx's question and says, A gentleman never... Monche. Her name is Monche. And Nemasatra and Trizian look at each other. And Trizian nods and she says, well, he seems to be telling the truth about that. The two of them look a little bit disgruntled at this revelation. And,
Good stuff.
They say, well, we have one further question for you. For you. Or your father, I suppose. They say, with some skepticism, this all seems too convenient, too contrived. I could use another tidbit of evidence to present to my lord. So tell me, human, are you truly the child of Zybilna and this human?
Yes, I am.
And at this point, your father sort of flips his hair and looks and says, well, I am Zybilna's lover, and Veneto here is a product of our love. As you can see, pointed ears on him, rounded ears on me. By all accounts, this Igwilv that you're looking for, was she not a human? And since I'm a human too, then how would you explain my dear boy Veneto here? Do you sense any polymorph upon him? Any illusion? They step closer, and one of them leans down, and her head is like about this big. You didn't realize how big these gals really are. They're fucking huge. And she just takes your face in her hand and tips it from side to side, pulls on your ears, opens your jaw, like pulls out your tongue.
That's very good, huh?
And she says, well, I suppose you make a point. It is well known that Igwilv, much like her pseudonym Tasha before her, were very much human, immortal or otherwise. And Zybilna certainly is Fae, there's no doubting that.
What about the merchandise piece?
They say, I wouldn't mind taking you both for myself, but I suppose that wouldn't be right if we have the wrong quarry. He says, so Fabio says, well, if that's all then, I would dearly like to catch up with my son. We've been frozen in time for quite a while, and at this point, I think we have some catching up to do.
Yeah, right.
So the Lamias sort of scowl at each other in disappointment, but it seems like they can't dispute the three proofs that you've given them. So they stand up and say, extend our apologies to the Fae Queen. We shall continue our search for the erstwhile Witch Queen elsewhere. And with that, they approach the room's large oval mirror and pass through it like it was an open door. And as the tip of their tails pass through, you look in and you can see what looks like a hellish palace on the other side, and there's a large, powerfully built man in there, bare chest, and he is ebony black, save for his glowing green eyes, and he's holding a huge chalice in his hand, and you notice that his hand has 6 fingers upon it as he drinks. And with that, the portal in the mirror closes once more. And it's just you in there with Skyla, Pickle, and your father.
What a blankie over that? Like,
That looked
blue.
Did look very neat.
Yes, I know I'm not there, but which hand? With the 6 fingers?
On the right hand.
Oh, okay.
No one was looking for him.
Somebody was probably looking for him.
Yeah. No, both his hands have 6 fingers.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, less so then. Maybe.
All right, wait a second. That was a truth spell that she cast?
He says it was. One.
I already assumed that you're my father, but the other part of that I didn't.
He says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think that her spell successfully ensorcelled me? Please. I have had my fair share of run-ins with fey queens, demon princesses, monarchs.
Yes, but she also cast a spell on me.
Yes, but you see this little pendant I'm wearing?
Yes.
It's proof against detection, location, and any divinational intrusions onto one's mind.
I don't have one.
No, you do not. But she cast the spell on me, and nothing that she asked you was untrue.
I'll do an insight on that. I want to do an insight on that. That's a good idea.
So you do that. Go ahead and roll.
I like that. You do that. That's a 6. What was it? +3, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So 10.
9.
9.
9. So
that's a 15. Or 20. That was a nat 20.
So you don't doubt that he has a magic pendant around his neck, but you feel like there's something more going on to what he says. And he looks rather smug right now, by the way.
What are you leaving out?
He says, "Oh, you mean about the fact that I countered her spell without her noticing? Because I'm able to do such things discreetly?"
Like up on his shirt. I don't like him. Though.
I like it.
You would.
He says, if you'd chosen a different profession, I might have been able to teach you this talent. But yes, sometimes it helps to be subtle.
So, yes, sir.
Comes from
Anyway.
Fabio.
Father,
Son?
it's a pleasure to meet you finally.
Yes, I'm sure it is.
So what the fuck happened to you?
He says, well, after your mother put me out, I'm
Also glad to see you alive.
Oh, I thank you. I'm very much glad to be alive after that. That was rather harrowing. Those are some large ladies. Large ladies.
No, I was saying that I'm glad to see you to be alive after a relationship with my mother.
Oh, well, yes. How is Pravima anyway?
She's doing very well, apparently. Thought we were destitute, but no.
No, she.
All good. Everything apparently worked out just fine.
Oh well, that's wonderful for her. I'm happy for her, really. I mean, I don't have reason to hold a grudge against any of my paramours, really.
So going back, what the fuck happened to you?
Oh well, you see, I found my way to Prismeer. I had some desires of my own heart that I wished to express, and one thing led to another, and, well, this isn't my first time in here. I kind of came in here seeking Zybilna. Thought I might wake her up, but apparently we were all frozen in time somehow. Not really sure how that happened.
So, how did you get together with Zybilna in the first place?
Well, that's a story for another time. He says, we have time to catch up. But at this point, we should probably move on to some of the others.
I got questions. Fine.
So many questions. So many questions. Let's see, where were we?
Drag you out the freaking door like, let's go. Let's try treatment.
He's over there. I was frozen today.
Let's see.
I have been falling 30 minutes.
You thought I was funny.
Well, time. No.
Poor Bubby.
Sophia doesn't like on the bed either. She'll pass out in about 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
After you return to the ballroom where Zabilna's had some time. She says, "Oh, there you are.
Is the little fairy girl still just a little fairy girl?
Yes.
All right. She come with us?
Yeah.
Skyla's sort of sticking with you.
All right.
After all, she was supposedly the one who showed you up there. As you all reconvene back in the ballroom, and you find yourself back there as well. At this point, you're straightening out your cuirass and your surcoat.
I went on backwards.
And the redheads seem to be somewhat flushed in the face as well.
That's for a shoulder pad. Oh, yeah. Ooh, look at this.
What? Prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation.
Nice. Very nice.
No better time or use.
Zabilna says, I've had some time to consider a few going away presents for all of you that I thought you might enjoy. Benito, she it's almost like she unzippers the air next to her. She reaches in and she pulls out a scroll that she hands to you.
Okay.
And you notice that the scroll is bound by something that looks very familiar to you. It's your old signet ring that you lost. That Gromgar took with you as proof of your supposed death by the hands of the Golden Wasps. He says, well, aren't you curious what the scroll is?
Indeed I am.
She says...
Now put the signet ring back on.
She says, let's just say it's a little bit of blackmail against a certain merchant consul of Malatesta. I'm sure you remember Giardo Celodo, or at least his wife, right?
Oh, yes.
Well, point is, if something happens that you accidentally find... If something bad happens to you, that scroll will accidentally find itself before the Senate. I'm sure they'd love to hear about how he had poor old Paolo Orsini murdered in his old age. Your stepfather was quite a bit more popular than
Wait a second.
Giardo.
He's the one that's there. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Quite right.
Oh, yeah, I knew he was trying to assassinate him. Yes, okay.
He tried to assassinate your mother as well.
True, yeah.
Zalric, she hands you a little gift. It looks like a tiny little teepee. It looks like a toy teepee. As you examine it, it's got a little flap that you're able to open up and look inside. And on the inside, it looks like it's way bigger than on the outside. And Zabilna says, if you place it on the ground, it'll turn into a full-sized pavilion that you can use, replete with luxurious sleeping furs. And as you do so and you look inside, you see that there's a curious sort of swing apparatus inside there as well.
I'm going to look over at the little guy beside me and say, hey, can I borrow that for a little bit?
She says,
No, not until I've finished.
She says, I believe you have a green-haired or perhaps a pink-haired cutie of your own waiting back for you at the carnival I sponsor. Now, don't you? Well, they're both trapeze artists. I'm sure they can show you how that works.
Yeah, it's very athletic.
It's like when
I'm
you
sure,
go to the gym.
I'm sure we'll put it to good use.
Yeah. If Gleam is too shy, I'm sure that her twin Glister, she's a bit more outgoing. Maybe she can show you.
Indeed.
Voltan, dear.
Yes.
Well, I had thought about giving you a pendant to put around little Cordelia's neck to keep her from dying outright the next time a stiff breeze strikes her. But at this point, I'm almost wondering if you need it more. Feline just is like, she says, give it here," and she without any ceremony, she like clasps it around Cordelia's neck immediately.
Yeah, she definitely needs it.
I don't know. You take a lot of hits.
Feline says, Feline says, oh, there's no helping him, but I'm not losing Cordy again. No.
Come on. Serious?
Yeah.
What? I mean, what is it? I'm perfectly fine. Yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah.
I'm going to cast Cure Wounds on
he needs it.
Or restoration.
Could use all thy hands.
Nice.
And it comes back around.
Oh, restore hit points, right? Yeah. Oh, hit points, right?
Nice, Padme. Nice, Padme. Nice.
Yeah.
Stuff time will be bursted and stuff.
Stuart, she says, oh, pardon me, Sergeant Hawkwood. And just as Isabella is about to say something, another pixie, whom you recognize as Vivian, the hostess who originally greeted you in that in the entryway that you guys decided to do everything to avoid, she comes over and whispers something in Zabilna's ear and says, Sergeant Hawkwood, I have a very serious task for you. Do be a dear and convey this missives to Miss Harabax at the end of the road, would you? I'll entrust your reward to her good judgment. Oh, did we lose Mike? Where's his webcam at? Where are you at?
Mike? Whoa, what? You've been on this whole time?
I don't know.
Yeah. Mike,
where is?
Mike.
Mike.
Oh, okay. Hey. That was weird. I don't know why your webcam went away. Did you?
I muted it.
Oh, okay. Did you hear what I had said, or do you need me to repeat it?
No, I was listening to for the others. What was the last thing?
Okay, so Zabilna said, Sergeant Hawkwood, I have a very serious task for you.
Okay, that's what I didn't hear.
Yeah, she says, do be a dear and convey this missive, which she is penning at midair as she speaks. Do be a dear and convey this missive to Miss Harabax at the end of the road, would you? I will entrust your reward to her good judgment.
Certainly.
Why can't I?
How may I get there?
He says, well, I was thinking that I would loan all of you the use of my my crystal carriage after we're done here.
Very
good.
Pickle.
Huh?
A Witchlight monarch ought to be able to travel in style. So why don't you give this good fellow a name? And she hands you a little figurine of what looks like a golden fox. It's about this big. She says, do you have a name in mind?
No.
He says, well, when you think of one, speak it into its ear, and then anytime you need him, call out his name, and he shall appear.
Oh, you're a junior.
The jar dirt. Does the jar dirt help?
You don't want it? Give it back. No, then it helps.
Did you want to try it out, or are you afraid?
That would put your name on the road.
All right.
Goldie?
Next. He's got to start with a V, of course.
Yes.
Why?
We want to keep it singing.
What?
Vixone.
What you just said. Never mind.
All right. What
Todd.
Todd? Ah, I see what you did there.
I do too.
Todd LaFoe, by any chance?
Maybe.
Okay, so you're naming it Todd?
I don't know.
You're a goblin. You can give him a simple name. It's fine.
Bip.
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 Oh, I need it.
I don't know.
No, Bip. Because the name's Lump.
It's red and it's fast.
Zippy. Oh, no, that's with my snail.
Oh, Zippy the Wonder Snail?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. You can think of a name on your own time. But as you're examining the little statuette, you notice that even though it's shaped like a fox with a luxurious golden coat, its paws look like they don't look like canine paws. Instead, they look like a raccoon's hands and feet. So it's it's definitely not a normal creature, whatever it is.
Well, I like that. I like that.
Well, while you're thinking of a name for your new friend, Valena, you already seem to be quite blessed by the Feywild, Miss Unicorn.
Well,
but
yes, it's very nice actually.
It's quite a good look for you. I like the glow. I like the glow.
Oh, thank you.
There is something that I can think of that I might be able to do for you as a reward, however. Would you like me to restore all the memories of your former life?
Well,
It's entirely up to you, Miss Briarheart, I'm sorry.
it would be nice. I hope it doesn't, change me.
Well, the you that you've become since you awoke in the Feywild is also part of you. That would not be lost. This would at this point it might seem like faint memories from a dream, or perhaps what you remember from your childhood long ago, back when you were not quite the person you are today. And she seems kind of almost lost in thought as she says this, as if she's kind of recollecting parts of her own past that she's left behind her.
It would be very nice.
Very well then. And you see her, and she intones another spell, and she says, "All right." She says, "All right, Miss Elwyn Briarheart. Your memories are restored, and with that, you can remember everything from your childhood, including, I believe, your father was he a blacksmith? You remember helping him at?
He was he wasn't a blacksmith. He was a
woodcutter. Woodcutter. Yeah, you remember growing up in the forest, helping him with his projects. You recall. Meeting the coven of Swan May, and feeling like that was a place in your life. Then what you want to do? You remember the boy from your village that you were best friends with, Zachariah, and you remember also things slipping away at some point when your Swan May cloak disappeared, but that Zachariah was still there with you, even though his face was streaked with tears. And then when you woke up again, you remember the little bunny that seemingly no one else could see in the Feywild. So all of it, you remember all of it, but you still feel like yourself. You still feel like Valena, just now with, almost like if you recently binge watched a whole bunch of movies about your own previous life.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome, dear, and thank you for freeing me.
Oh, of course.
And Pip. So that little fey curse that was put upon you by a wicked fey queen, I think, given all the times you've protected our dear unicorn girl, I suppose it's only fair that as Queen of Prismeer, I judge that you, Zachariah, or Pip as you prefer, have fulfilled your penance, and I decree that your curse be broken. And when she says that, you notice that your still in the form of a Haragon. However, she says, in case you feel naked without all that fluff, I thought you might find it fun if you could freely switch between the forms that you've held in life.
Ooh.
Sort of like a were bunny, but without all the nuisance of that lycanthropy business. She says, if you'd like to go ahead, feel free to give it a try.
How does it work?
He says, so suddenly you suddenly find that you're able to change yourself into the form of a small white rabbit, a large white rabbit, the Harangon form that you've been in for quite some time, for at least for a few weeks since the Alexis kissed you and broke the invisibility enchantment, and you can even turn into a little white mouse. Or the human form of Zachariah that you once held in a previous life.
Yeah.
You can change between them at will.
So you see Pip takes the shape of a adolescent teenager. Perfectly albinized skin, like pure white, red eyes, and messy white hair. And he looks around, his clothes just ill fit him now. They just kind of hang off of him because he was once so tall and now he's shrunk quite considerably. And he almost like looks at his hands, looks at everyone else, like almost expectantly, like, oh, look.
Weird, but that hasn't changed.
You have the same white hair.
You look striking. I like it.
Does this form sort of match with what I recall?
It certainly does.
Zachariah.
I mean, you're pretty, but this is kind of weird.
You were always in a room with pretty men.
I understand you've been traveling with me for some time. This has to be quite a shock. Yeah, this is who I am.
Hey.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome, and thank you for taking good care of Elowin, or Velen as you prefer. Which do you prefer?
What are you going to turn into?
Well,
Have fight.
I've made friends as Elwyn, but this is a good group of people, and I think they know me best as Valena.
Very well then, Valena.
Then.
Do you still want to be called Pip, or do you want to be Zachariah? Or Zach?
You can call me whatever pleases you.
Oh, you two are
Does
so.
that go just for her?
You two are so sweet.
It's just double
Oh my gosh.
Take him with this.
with all we've been through, I mean, I at least extended the courtesy. Thank you all.
Zach? Zachariah?
That's fine.
Zach.
Whatever makes you.
Zachariah.
I don't know.
Pip
Sounds nice.
Yeah.
Pipsack.
Don't call me that.
Let's see. Oh, did you see what? Did you see what Mike? So, what Mike posted in chat was at will lycanthropy, or the ability to transform into a beast at will, is often referred to as therianthropy, or more generically as shapeshifting.
A skinwalker.
Shape-shifting is, the generic portion of it. It's derived from the Greek, meaning beast man.
Beast
Used to
man!
describe the ability to transform into an animal form, often used in... There you go.
He has the power.
So you can do the
So
Haragon
the AI Google overview.
and mouse.
A big bunny.
Oh, the mouse.
Small
He can be a
possibilities are endless.
he can be a rodent. You can be a rodent of unusual size.
RUI.
or
Or whatever it's called.
RUSs?
Yeah, RUS.
I don't think they exist.
You're right.
I'm literally right.
Sorry.
So, I believe that leaves us with just one bun now. A little birdie told me about your penchant for pyrotechnics. So how about a way to channel that in your pursuit of adventure?
I don't think you should refer to what was the fairy's name? That
Oh, Dink?
I don't think you should refer to them as a little birdie. They might not like that.
Well, I suppose not, but I don't really care.
That's fair.
Now, so she, much like the statues that the others have gotten, she hands you a little statue, and this one resembles the swamp gas balloons that they had in Hither, that the bullywugs used to fly around in. But the apparatus in this one looks a little different. So
A small statue.
yeah, it's a small statue. So it looks like a hot air balloon is what it looks like. And she says, "Now don't try it indoors. But if you affix that magic bottle of yours, you'll be the envy of the soggy court, and maybe that rascal Charm too."
Would you say don't try this indoors?
He says, "I know a thing or two about your mischievous nature."
You know I'm going to do that, right?
She snaps her fingers, and you guys all suddenly find yourselves in the courtyard outside.
I potentially decided on a name.
She says, "Oh, you thought of a name, did you?" Peanut.
That or pumpkin. I don't know.
Well, it can only have one name, dear.
I was going to pick pumpkin, but then I saw peanut, and I was like, no.
I don't know if Bill the kind of person to give that kind of advice.
Okay, so...
But the question is, does anybody want a peanut?
Okay, everybody...
Does anyone want a peanut?
Everybody take a vote, write it on a little sheet, and then hold it up.
What color is the little foot?
It's either
No, what color
pumpkin or
is
peanut.
What color is the peanut? What?
We're voting on the name for my fox.
I'm voting as Zabilna.
Either pumpkin or peanut. Just type it in the chat.
I wrote my name.
How about Fireball?
No, there is no fireball. It's pumpkin or peanut.
I mean, I can put a poll in there if you
all at
want.
the same time, or
Yes, at the
The
same
name,
time.
the name of my first dog was Peanut.
Well, anyway, we're...
Well, I've
name
got some
of my
additional
first
markers over here if anyone needs one.
Okay, everybody ready?
Yeah. Hold on. He has to revise.
Oh, this is a tense moment.
It's either pumpkin or peanut.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
I can't see what you got on there.
Oh, I wrote pumpkin.
Pumpkin.
You're a trinket.
There's a trinket.
Wait. We voted on what you said? Peanut.
Okay,
Peanut.
so we got. Hold on.
Make it a
You did peanut.
Yeah.
Peanut.
Hold on.
Oh,
I need to
You got
tally them. I gotta tally them. So pumpkin had 1,
3, 4.
Zabilna voted pumpkin as well.
Pumpkin.
3,
4.
4,
And then 3 peanuts.
3 peanuts. Not John. Mike, what was yours?
Peanut.
4 peanuts.
Wait a second. Wait a second. There's somebody didn't vote because there's 8 of you. There's 8 players.
Vote.
Yeah, Aaron did vote.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't.
All right, hold on. I gotta go ask Aaron.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey,
yes,
while
because we
he's
need
asking
Aaron. We need
Aaron,
Aaron to vote. So
Ozzy.
you have to ask Aaron.
While he's
All right,
asking
odds
Gary,
You call it. Odds are even.
Odds are even. Okay.
Okay, and I'll write down what's what.
Odd is pumpkin.
You're rolling D100, right?
Pumpkin.
Okay. Great, go for it.
Odd is pumpkin, even is peanut.
Let's do it, actually.
Is it 2
Okay.
seconds?
5.
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin it is.
Pumpkin it is.
for
He
the
says,
fire
"Oh,
rabbit, what year were you actually born?
Fire rabbit.
For
She's
Mr.
she's an
Fire-
earth she's an earth dragon.
Yeah.
No,
There's an earth dragon.
Fireball, fire the rabbit with the pinch on for firing. Fireball.
Yeah, no, I got it. It took me a minute.
What's your actual birthday?
Pumpkin Center.
What
Yeah.
birth year?
March 8th, 1985.
Put it that way.
Oh, so close. There's a
Yeah.
whole thing in the Chinese zodiac about fire rabbits.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 87 actually.
Pumpkin.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Google
This-
fire spirit
Pumpkin?
rabbit. That's the
Sure.
whole thing about it.
All
You
right.
can't spell.
Nice.
We're doing a spoon. We're spelling it like that.
Pumpkin. Oh, I like it. Pumpkin.
Pumpkin. Pumpkin.
So when you say its name, suddenly the statuette transforms into a glorious huge fox, and it's got a riding saddle with a high back on it and stirrups.
Would have been funny if it was Peanut because there's a show called Pickle and Peanut. It's okay.
Oh, you? All right.
And it looks up at you and says, "Well, hello, mistress. How are you? Where are we going today?" She says, "Well, you didn't ask." Why, what's wrong with Pumpkin? I think it's a fine name. I mean, who doesn't like a good pun? And if we're going to be spending time together, we're surely kin.
You talk too much like him.
Do I? Well, I suppose we find ourselves in good company then.
Well, my father, you never know.
Yeah,
Oh my God!
Zabilna turns bright red and she says, "Oh, did I do that?"
Fabio walks in the room and immediately walks out.
It is exactly as Emmett says. It is exactly
Like
as
Grandpa
Emmett says.
Simpson in the Berlin.
Yup. What color is the fence?
It's a sandy golden. It's a sandy golden color,
Okay.
much like your father's hair, actually.
Dude, this is gonna be.
Zabilna says, honestly, it must have been some sort of a subconscious thing. Well, I suppose that means you're going to be thinking of Benito's father every time you ride Pumpkin.
You say I have a type.
Well,
I'm talking about it.
Well, she says, well, I suppose it's about time that I see all of you off. But before I send you cuties home, I thought you might like to have a good look and see all the good that you've done for Prismeer and all the joy that you've brought for my dear subjects. You see the western, now that you're outside, you see the western entrance to the palace swing open, and a crystalline carriage drawn by magical glass alicorns emerges and soars out over the gardens and alights gently right by you guys. And the doors swing open. And Zabilna says, as I understand it, there's something of a little get-together going on over at the grandfather tree. So I'll meet you there a bit later to see you off.
We're gonna walk it.
What?
Gonna walk it.
Where is the grandfather tree?
Right. Let me open up a map of Prismeer, and I will show you where it is.
Air balloon by chance?
I could do that, I suppose, but let's see. Witchlight.
No, if anything, she's gonna think you go every time we do 2 years or box talk. Just be like,
Prismeer. What do you mean no matches? Hold on. Actually, this would be a good spot for us to take a bathroom break. Let's take a bathroom break before we continue with the second half.
That was good.
All right.
Who's actually going to take that? Never mind.
Just a moment while I pause. Done.
Oh. So that's what that's like.
And suddenly the animator keeled over with a coronary. And everyone was saved. All right, let's see. So I didn't feel like having to read aloud for 20 minutes, so this is just kind of bullet points.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, montage time. And go.
It's the guy.
So as you guys hop in the carriage, it takes off and begins doing a circuitous path over Prismeer, taking off first over Jan, where you can see Mudlump and giving Dubfergale a tour of his gardens, which are now flourishing since the sun has finally dawned. You can see that Dubfergale is carrying a giant flagon of mead in her hands, and she's wearing a garland of flowers from his garden. They wave at you, and you can see that Mudlump has lipstick imprints on his face. as it banks around further over this way, you can see Queen Argantel leading a square dancing lessons with the Briganox by the lake that once separated them. And you can also recognize the Briganox shaman, Obud, because his little pony with the hut on its back is there along with him, as well as Golmo, the Briganox who Skyla had imprisoned previously to come up with all those insane contraptions of hers. He's now dancing with the Goblin Tailor, who you first encountered when you first saw her.
Oh, well.
Over at the Fairy Beacons, you can see that the 8 Greyhawk mummers are once again humanoids, and they're putting on a play for those who want to return home, and Curly, the bugbear, is actually performing with them, and judging by the applause from the audience, it looks like he's actually doing okay. Near the cliffs overlooking hither, you can see the goblin girl Fenia is flying a kite with her parents at the edge of Motherhorn, and they wave at you as you fly past, and the carriage dives down below into the valley of hither.
Yeah, fast. We're going like monk.
You guys are
like a couple cheese.
Yeah, you guys are going super fast.
My ears are popping.
So in hither, you can see that the murky swampland is now full of colorful flowers, budding willows and swaying cattails. Gone is the rank odor of rotten, stagnant water, and it's been replaced now by the sweetness of honeysuckle wafting on the breeze. The members of the Soggy Court in Downfall seem to be in the process of reclaiming it for themselves, and they've embarked on the laborious task of slowly dismantling Bab Lorna's ramshackle hut, which is now partially fallen over into the water. But you can see that the lake where they live is no longer brown and murky, but it's much clearer now, brilliant blue, and you can make out schools of koi fish swimming beneath the surface.
This place got a glow up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Past that, you see the brigands tollway below, the catwalks that you encountered all the Harrigan bandits on. Here, you spy Margot Robin in a swamp gas balloon of her own, keeping watch on a chain gang of Harrigan brigands who are in the process of helping to dismantle and improve the tollway for visitors, such as putting up signs with directions on where to go and whatnot. And as your flying carriage distracts everyone, you notice one brigand in particular, a Harrigan with a bright blue scarf, attempts to use the distraction to get away, but after a few feet, he's quickly choked out as a crossbow bolt pins his scarf to a pylon, and he just goes.
No escape for you.
No, folks, never change.
Yep.
Was that Peter Rabbit?
Sort of. Sort of.
Okay.
What was the name again?
He's acted.
Yeah.
As you pass the Brigands' Tollways, you do bank around Slanty Tower, which was one of the first places that you encountered. It is still quite slanty. Its position hasn't improved one bit. It is now noticeably free of giant serpents, however, thanks to you guys.
Wait, you should have some jerky, don't we?
We got to say, did we ever get through all of that?
I don't think so.
Still complicated.
Thanks, amount.
Yep. As you round Slanty Tower and proceed further to the east over towards thither, you do pass Tellamy Hill, which is sort of dancing in place at the moment, and you can see its little booted feet out from under it. It's kind of doing a jig, and the trees are there swaying and doing the wave. And on top of it, you can see that Jingle Jangle, the little orange goblin that you had encountered, who had an obsession with keys, she's giving Tellamy Hill a good back scratch with a garden rake. And as you guys pass overhead, the trees wave happily at, and they look up and wave at you guys as well.
Is anybody else thinking of the end of Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Mm-hmm.
Where they were saying, it's not.
I was thinking of the end of the never-ending story.
Well, that's
That was because of the music, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I managed to find a remix version of it.
Well, the way their trees are dancing and stuff, I was like,
Yeah.
Giant.
Not just because of the music, and well, you guys got to go watch Never-Ending Story again.
I really do. It's been a minute.
1, 2, or 3?
Yes.
Well, it never ends.
Well, today is. I mean, today is 3, 2, 1. So 1, 2, 3 would that would make a certain amount of sense too.
All right.
As the carriage leaves hither and passes into thither, you guys are flying over this forest, which, if you remember, it had been starting to become decrepit around the edges. Not quite like the nothing was gnawing away at it, but it was definitely the trees were definitely sick around the edges and graying. But now everything is bright and vibrant again, as if it's spring. You can see as you bank over the wayward pool that Lamorna and Eladon are running free by the shores, and they tossing their heads in the wind as they see you fly past. And Valena, you almost feel like you make eye contact with them, and it almost feels kind of like, seeing your adoptive parents again.
I don't know about Jesus.
And they wave with their little hooks.
As you continue flying, you end up passing over the spot where I believe you had encountered a very angry and very sickly dryad whose tree had been cut down previously. But from the stump, you can see that there's all sorts of fresh shoots that are growing up, and you also notice that there's 3 pixies that you had tea with earlier. They're in the process of weaving all the shoots into sort of like a little canopy above her, and the dryad, she now has a mossy blanket that they put around her shoulders, and it seems that they're caring for her. Upon seeing you, some of them fly up to you and do loop-de-loops around the carriage and saying like, you guys did great. We're so happy now. Everything's back the way it's supposed to be. You're the best.
Thanks for all the help with Scabba, guys. Yeah.
Hey, no problem. It was fun messing with those ink blots and all the toy soldiers.
And the dryad doesn't want to use the helmet on, right?
Hey, maybe we'll see you at the party later. Bye.
Party later. Oh, good.
Where's the rum?
Where's the rum? Yeah,
gone.
At last, as your carriage approaches the site that was formerly known as Loomlurch, aka the grandfather tree, the carriage begins to descend towards it, and you can see that Will of the Wilds, or Will of the Feywild, appears to be playing pirate ship with the getaway gang and a whole bunch of goblin children. They're swinging from vines and play fighting with wooden swords, and it looks like the Blink dogs are in on the action as well, barking happily as they tackle Will and begin licking his face. You can also see that nearby the Goblin Flea Market is throwing a celebration, using defeated toy soldiers' heads as drums and their bodies as seats. And seeing you, they begin setting off magical fireworks like swooping dragons and pegasi that soar alongside the carriage before fizzling out. But what most catches your eye through it all is the sight of Charm's storm cloud balloon, which is slowly descending in lockstep with a place that you guys are well familiar with. The inn at the end of the road is slowly trudging its way up to the grandfather tree. As if
here's my ride.
Yeah. as if the carriage was sensing that this is where you guys are supposed to go, it begins to descend at a rapid pace towards it, and all of you are like, "This isn't going to crash," but it ends up pulling up, and kind of like one of those corkscrew roller coasters. It spirals on down and then pulls up in the gardens outside of Loomlurch before the doors pop open and you're all free to spill out.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab the ground.
Like this.
Yes.
You see it fluttering too, like flower petals too.
Nice. I take it you're in full on spring or summer at this point? Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Is our giant pet snail here waiting for us?
You remember that?
Zippy the Wonder Snail?
Yeah, the first one we freed from the bandits.
You remember he was following us the entire time?
Oh, that's right.
Zippy was the name of my snail in the snail race.
Yeah. At the very beginning, when we first got here, we followed some paragons, and one of the snails was constantly following us after that.
Oh, it was going very slowly.
Yeah.
It wasn't Zippy. That was somebody else.
Yeah.
It was like it just made it to the palace parts.
Oh no! Sorry.
Here I go again.
There we go again.
Never-ending story.
Like snake starts playing in the background. Kind of fun.
So suddenly and completely without warning, a snail that you guys feel like you saw before, but now has its sides painted with racing stripes and flames, pulls up, leaving a wake of fire behind it. It seems like it might have gotten some upgrades.
You needed it. Forgot.
Yeah. When you guys get here, Will of the Feywild runs over to greet you. Let me see if I got any artwork of that kid.
What about that shirt?
Oh my god, I have so many windows open. Stop it. No, it's too many.
Almost like a pirate.
Yeah, he kind of
Or
is.
seeing his true
Oh yeah.
another form. Yeah.
Where did it open?
Another form.
Okay, so there's Will and the Getaway Gang. This over here with the floofy hair is Will, and these are some of his other friends that you guys helped to liberate. So he runs over and says, and I believe Pip was interested in finding Will again in particular, but Will's overjoyed to see everyone. And he takes stock, and he says, Valten, Valena, Zalric, Veneto, Pickle, Wexley. Pip? Is that you?
It's me.
He says, your curse was broken.
It was.
Oh, fantastic. So you guys did it. This is all thanks to you, isn't it? Oh, and he just comes over and gives you a huge hug, and for as small and spindly as he is, it feels like you're being crushed by an ogre. He says, I want, if Zybilna could amend your nature, I wonder if she could amend mine as well.
Why would you want her to do that?
Says, no reason at all. I'm quite happy like this, but
Your other self was very useful.
I suppose. But I fear that nature might consume me if I indulge it too much. I'd just as soon be a happy pirate with my friends if it's all the same.
Well, she's in a good mood now. It's time to ask.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Put in a good word for you.
Oh, I'd appreciate that greatly. I would. He says, but as you can see, Little Oak has been busy healing the grandfather tree, Loomlurch, as you probably recall. There's new shoots sprouting everywhere, and even the passageways inside are starting to close up as his heartwood begins to regrow. Couldn't have happened without you. Thank you so much. He says, even the darkness at the edge of the land has faded away, and Wayward Pool is more beautiful than ever. I don't know if you've seen Illidan and Lamorna, but they're reunited in their magic. Oh, it's a beauty to behold. He says, and do you know that old centaur Winterbow?
Yes.
He managed to help out that owlbear that you found, the one pulling the carriage. We never did find its master. However, in a cave not far from here, we found an old man. We found an old man. Nib is his name. And so we brought him here. Apparently, Skabatha had cursed him to stay in a cave, spinning wealth into items to give to people. And he was condemned to do it until all of his wealth, all of his gold from his time in the real world was spent. But the cruel witch put some sort of enchantment on it, so it was always replenishing. Can you imagine? Anyway, he's here now. If you care to greet him.
I would actually like a chance to talk to Master Nib.
Oh, certainly. Right this way. And he leads you over to the side, and he's sitting by a little fire pit that's going, and there's a bunch of children there laughing, like little goblin kids roasting marshmallows and whatnot. And as you approach, he looks up, and you can see that he's actually able to see. Like, he doesn't have the blindfold or anything, but he's there knitting like little toys and dolls for the children. And he says, "Oh, hello. Who might I be speaking with?"
This is Zachariah, formerly known as Pip.
Zachariah. That's a strong name.
Glad you think so.
Indeed.
Master Nib, I remember you helped us greatly before. You may not remember us, may not remember our faces. We were blinded at the time, but I remembered your kindness, and if it's okay with you, I would like to remain in thither, here with you. I'm an artificer by trade. I made this, and he'll hold out the portal wand.
Oh. He examines it and says, What does this do, pray tell?
Creates 2 linked portals, much like a...
Truly?
Yes, truly.
Wow, you're quite the magnificent mage, then.
I'm no such thing. I'm quite the charlatan, actually. But I was hoping that one day I might become great. And someone like you could certainly have a lot of things to teach me.
Like me?
I think so.
He says,
Getting magic from wealth? It's not something anyone can do.
He says... He thinks for a moment and looks down, and you kind of get the impression that he feels a bit ashamed. He says, "My dear boy, that was all the work of Skabatha's curse upon me. That spinning wheel, that was no creation of mine. That was her device by which she tormented me. Although I have learned a lot of knitting and crochet over time."
Don't believe you. As someone, take it from me, as someone that has been affected by curses as well and knows them well, I think there's a little something in there for you as well. Some truth in there that maybe Skabatha held on to and used against you.
He thinks for a moment. He says, you might have something there. I can't explain how I did it, but somehow some part of me instinctively knew how to create all those different magic items that I doled out to those who happened upon me and took pity upon my plight.
Thank you, Master. Please, let me study with you. I want to be here in this forest, and I want to live among the trees with Will and... Please.
He kind of pats his eyes with the doll that he was knitting, and he sets it down, and the doll sort of stands up on its own, looks around, walks over to a goblin child and raises its hands, and you hear it say, "Up!" And the goblin picks up and says, "Thanks, Master Nib!" And they go running off with the little doll, and Master Nib just laughs and says, "Well, whether it's some sort of enchantment upon my person or some latent talent that I perhaps should have pursued instead of being a miserly landlord, I would we can investigate this together and see what we dredge up."
You will not regret this.
I don't imagine I would. And thank you for believing in me.
Of course. I'll see you at the party.
Yes, quite. Excellent. So, Stuart, as everyone is celebrating at this party, you notice that the inn at the end of the road finally trundles up to the celebration. And as it does, it lowers itself on its 100 legs with a gentle...
I have a missive here from the missus.
Indeed you do. So this is, if you recall, this is the inn. So while you're sitting there, go ahead and give me a perception check, please.
Oh, stand by. Let me get to the right place. Perception check is a wee bit poor. We'll see.
Guidance.
You're not there at the moment.
Oh, okay.
11. Just come here, 11.
Can I help with 2 critical attacks at the same time? Yeah.
Well, you
encouragement.
while you're sitting there, kind of taking all this in, you notice as soon as the inn stops moving, a figure wearing a dark cloak quickly hurries up to the front door of the inn, and they look around, and then seem to try and slip in unnoticed. And a moment later, from within, you hear a "Ah!" You hear a panic scream from within the inn. What do you want to do?
Run in.
All right.
Sword and shield.
You burst in just in time to see this cloaked figure is gripping the proprietor, Sue Harabax, the old Asian druid lady, in what looks like a bear hug, and lifting her feet off the floor. Go ahead and give me an insight check.
All right, this may be an okay hug. Otherwise, someone's going to be fatally misinterpreted. Insight check.
Insight.
Hang on a second. Insight.
Insight.
15.
15. So, the way that Sue is screaming, she's like, oh, Yui, and she starts patting this person on the back, and it's at that point that she seems to notice you, and she says, "Stuart, is that you? Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Please come in. Take your cloak off and join us for dinner. This is my brave and beautiful daughter, Yui."
Ah, glad it was your daughter and not somebody. Yeah, nice to meet you.
All right, let me get this opened up here. So here's Sue, in case you don't remember her, and then. Oh, we'll do this on the. Yeah, we'll just put you in the middle.
Just found my purpose in life.
Yeah.
He has the type too. Yeah.
He definitely does. So the figure in the cloak turns towards you, and you can see that this they're garbed like a ranger or a hunter, but she's attractive with long black hair and fine features, and her attire consists of emerald green studded leather armor, and you can and she's wearing a quiver on her back, and you can see that she's got what looks like a pair of almost elvish-like blades on her hips. And Sue continues and says, Yui, this handsome young man makes a wonderful pot roast. Taste it, taste. And Yui just kind of nods her head at you, and kind of like humors her mother, and tastes from the ladle, and she's nodding very approvingly as her mother continues going on and gushing about how you guys saved Prismeer and rescued Zabilda, and Yui just kind of takes a seat at the bar and just kind of nodding along approvingly and whatnot. As she concludes her story about all of you and your friends' exploits, and she says, and if I'm not mistaken, he's single too. Mother? She sweeps back a lock of hair over her ear and smiles warmly. She says, well, hello, Stuart. It's nice to meet you. Not everyone impresses my mother so easily. What brought you to Prismeer? Heroics or work?
I think I was abducted.
Human trafficking.
She says, well, being abducted doesn't sound very heroic, but it sounds like you certainly turned the tables, didn't you?
Yeah, well, kind of helped out.
And at this point, Sue interjects again. She says, speaking of tables, why don't we all sit down and have dinner together? You two can sit here. I'll stay in the kitchen, making sure that I don't burn the stew.
Do you need a hand?
He says no. You two adventurers should talk about your adventures and exploits, and any plans for children, if you whatever you have in mind. And Yui just holds her hand to her forehead, and she's like, "My mother is incorrigible."
I know.
She says.
She means well.
I'm sure she does. I've been trying to get here to visit her for it feels like years now, but there was no way to reach Prismeer. It had simply disappeared. I've been all over the Feywild from Shirel to the summer court, everything, but it had simply vanished. It was like the whole world had passed it by. But a few hours ago it reappeared again, and I was finally able to get here. I've been running after this silly tavern all day long.
Well, some of our crew helped fix that.
That's mighty impressive. And yes, my name is Yui. I'm from the world we come from. I belong to a group that is known as the Harpers. I'm not sure.
Oh.
I'm not sure if you've heard of them or not, but we like to travel a lot. You might say, and we certainly appreciate a good deed and standing up to hags and other evil oppressors. So I guess we have something in common.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Maybe we can. I like those. I like those. How do those short swords deal with? I'm usually just a shield and a sword guy. I don't know if I'd be at home using just two blades, but I really want to learn how to use the arrows, the bow proper instead of just this thing. Talking about the little crossbow thing.
She says
she would recognize that.
She says, yes, indeed. I'd be happy to teach you. I'd be happy to teach you in aspects of archery. I mean, the crossbow is nice because anyone can use one, but they're bulky and cumbersome. Oh yes, they're quite potent, but the reload time, and she whips off her bow and like real quickly, she's got an underslung quiver, and she just like wraps off like 3 quick shots into a dartboard on the wall. She says, "This is what it's all about."
Yep. So we'll go talk shop, and that'll make her mama happy.
Yeah. And it does occur to you that you have that letter that Zabilna had asked you to deliver.
Oh yeah. I handed it to her. Yeah.
So Sue opens it up and has a look inside, and she just she kind of squeals and claps her hands in excitement. And she says, "Stuart, Zabilna just gave me a wonderful idea." She says, I'm getting on in years, and I really ought to be a grandmother at this point in my career. So I think I should probably retire, and I could use someone who's a good cook, but also capable to take over managing the inn at the end of the road. And my daughter, she's so busy being a harper and trying to save Baldur's Gate. How about you take over the inn at the end of the road, and I go retire to some nice Emerald Grove and get to live out my days peacefully.
Yeah. I look at you and say, "What do you think?"
Yui was mid-drink, and her eyes kind of go wide at this suggestion, and she just keeps drinking and drinking and drinking until her glass is gone. And she says, "Well, I never thought the day would come when my mother would finally hang it up. I think that's a great idea, but I guess I'll have to make a point of coming back here to." If we intend to work on any archery lessons, if that's okay.
I'll be here.
All right. Well, I think that sounds like a fun idea. Why don't we just celebrate this arrangement with some sake? Mother, you still have the good sake here, right? And she says, "For you, Yui, anything." And
anything like whiskey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, Stuart, you are now the proprietor of the inn at the end of the road.
Nice.
And you may have picked up a part-time, maybe full-time adventuring companion, possibly, maybe.
Yeah, I have one of those in my house.
Yeah.
Yes.
My is red.
Exactly. Would be to you.
Wixley. Back outside, Wexley, you can see as Charm's balloon can be spotted descending towards the grandfather tree, and the party that sort of compels it to land there. From inside the balloon, or the gondola rather, you hear a rather excited shout, "Wexley!"
Very good.
And she, even though the balloon is still coming down, she damn near jumps out of it before you see her sister reach out and like grab her by the shoulder and
which is funny because I'm already climbing up Stuart to jump off of him to get to the balloon.
Yeah, and she like pushes over the ladder and like she at the very last section she like reaches out and like grabs the rung and then just sort of like puts her hands on your side and like slides down, and she runs over and just about tackles you with a big hug. As you get back to your feet,
picture?
Huh?
Did you make that picture?
Mid-journey.
Mid-journey? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As you guys get back to your feet, she kind of looks bashful and says, "Sorry, I I was excited to see you. And you can see that while she still has on a frilly black dress like she did before, now it looks like she's got a leather cuirass over it, and braces are gathering her poofy sleeves. You also notice that she's got a pair of daggers on her hips, and it looks like she's ready to go on an adventure.
I don't believe she did. It's your outfit is incredible.
He says, "You like it?"
I do.
She sort of straightens out the headband on her head, and you notice that she's got a pair of black bunny ears that she seems to have made out of felt and wire. And she says, "Do you like them?"
They're adorable.
Oh. She says they kind of reminded me of you know, and where I come from, everybody's so similar, and I always kind of stuck out, and I kind of thought about you, and you there's lots of Haringons here, but you're not from here.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, so I don't know. I was thinking that maybe back where you're from, you stuck out too. So maybe now we can stick out together.
Absolutely. However, I do believe that you are missing something.
She says, "Am I?" And she turns around, and you notice that she's got a little poofy black tail between her tassets in the back.
Yes, but I think that, and I'm going to pull out a red rose that, while I'm holding it, is on fire. That I pulled from Zabilna's garden.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, please. I was wondering. Okay. I thought you forgot about it.
No. And I am going to fix it to her.
To her
lapel.
Her lapel.
Yeah.
This person played the text.
Suddenly she can bust into flames. She's like, "Oh my gosh, did you get that from the Palace Gardens?"
I did.
Oh my God, you're so bad. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Well,
oh my gosh. Thank you, Witchlight.
Nobody said that I couldn't. Because everybody was frozen, so they didn't really have a chance to say anything at all.
She says that does.
You still have the cake.
But the important part is that they didn't.
That's right.
He says, so anyway, I was wondering if you'd like some company on your adventures. And from the balloon, you hear Charm's voice rasp out at you. "She means her company." And you can see on the like climbing down from the balloon is this Trinket's sister Bauble, and she just looks at her. She's like, "Yeah," and
I would be happy to adventure.
She sort of bounces up and down, and as she does, her ears bounce all over the place, and she's like, I can hardly wait. But we, Charm and Bauble still, they still have their shop to run. But
are they certain they don't want to come with us?
Charm pokes her head over the side of the basket, and Bauble looks up. And the two of them are just like,
"Oh hell no!"
Hey, while I'm talking to you two, what the fuck does the basket of beans do? That's wonderful. It just says only repellent on the side. It's just like out of nowhere. You see me like holding a basket of beans.
From nearby, you hear Will of the Feywild suddenly. And he says, "Oh, my friends, I'm quite sorry. It seems I must have gotten something up my nose. If you don't mind me, I'm gonna excuse myself for a wee bit. I'll be
Put the guns away.
I'll be quite over there for a while."
Never mind. I think I figured it out.
And he just trots off, and a bunch of goblin children are like running after him, holding up like little dolls and stuffed animals. Like, yeah, go get him, go get him.
It repels Will. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as you recall, Will is actually an Oni.
Well, if we're going to go on an adventure together, it's not really prudent for us to keep these and the sending stones. It's like, we don't need to talk to each other. We'll have all the time in the world to do that now.
She says, well, I suppose you have a point, unless we need to do like a super secret infiltration and split up. And then, well, I'm sure you know how this stuff goes better than I do.
Mm.
But we can still have the stones for, when we need them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose we're going to be doing a lot of walking without Charm's balloon. But that's okay. I don't mind walking.
I don't think that we'll have to do a lot of walking.
Oh, how come?
Are we inside?
You're most definitely not inside. You are outside. In a clearing.
Yeah,
I kind of want to walk in anyway. No, and I'm going to take out a little, like, miniature statue and hook my ever-smoking bottle into it.
All right. As you do so, the ever-smoking bottle gets pulled up inside of it. The basket drops down below it, and then the whole thing begins to enlarge. The little basket grows until it's a full-on gondola, about as big as the one on Charm's balloon. And slowly, over the course of the next few minutes, the little toy balloon on top swells until it is a gigantic hot air balloon, and it is lightly bobbing on the ground, held in place by ballast. And you get this intuitive sense that if you heat up the ever-smoking bottle with some of your fire cantrips or other spells, you can impart like additional lift to it and movement. In fact, from the size of the gondola, it's got a pair of they look like ornithopter wings that can be used to propel it. And
Professor Marvel?
and Trinket's eyes just get huge, and she says, "Where did you get this? This is amazing, Wexley."
What was it get from Zador?
Oh my god, we truly do have the kindest archfey in all the Feywild. This is amazing.
I'll look over at Charm. I got cool shit too.
He says, "What did you do to deserve that?" She says, "Oh, sure, you thaw out an archfey and suddenly you can go wherever you want." Well,
Wonder which one's faster.
he says, "Well, nothing's faster than lightning, mister."
Yeah, we test that theory at some point.
He says, "No time like the present."
Oh boy.
And race. And
All right.
Well,
Fireball.
I've never known fucking restraint yet.
Fireball.
So quickly, Trinket hops in the basket along with you, and you unleash with a fireball, and it all gets sucked into the bottle. And before you know it, Wexley and Trinket are off like they've been shot out of a slingshot. And Charmus is like, "What the? Bubble, get back up here! We're not going to take this crap!" and the two balloons go flying off into God's nowhere. And you can just hear the sound of laughter trailing from one balloon trailing behind you as there's like cursing and seething resentment from the other.
like your family.
She says, I like my new family better. And she gives you a huge hug.
Oh.
Way to get me so cute.
Anyway, the day ends up wearing on. Not like the position of the sun ever really changes in the Feywild, but eventually, to much fanfare, you can see a colossal owl swoop down towards Loomlurch and land near the grandfather tree. And what it does, it lets out this blood-curdling shriek, and everyone kind of freezes in terror before you see Zybilna pop up on its back, and she scritches it behind its head, and it just sort of turns its head all the way around and seems to enjoy it, and it just huddles up. It's like, And you recognize this, especially Valena, who almost unfroze it with herself in the same side of the bars earlier. You recognize this as Bloodybeak, the giant rock-sized owl that was Zybilna's favorite pet before she adopted the Jabberwock many years ago. So to much fanfare, Zybilna lightly descends from the back of the colossal owl, greeting her assembled subjects as she approaches you. Well, any and all of you are certainly welcome to make yourselves at home in Prismeer, but if you're intending to return back to the place from which you hailed, it's probably time to go before Mr. Witch and Mr. Light decide to guide the Witchlight Carnival to worlds unknown. Smiling and waving to the inhabitants of Prismeer, Zybilna guides you to Scabeth's former study, where you find a tall oval mirror, not unlike the one that you saw in Bavlorna's waiting pool, and not unlike the one that Veneto saw in Zybilna's bedroom. She says, now, you cuties repeat this charm after me. Hither and thither, is that a yawn? The day is late, I must be gone. And when she says that, you see the surface of the mirror begin to swirl, and on the opposite side of it, you can see the Hall of Mirrors inside the Witchlight Carnival. But before any of you guys can repeat the charm and hop through yourselves, you hear, wait! Pardon me, Your Highness. And you see that it's Will of the Feywild who's run up to you. And he is holding a little someone that you might have seen before. He says, pardon me, Your Highness, but might we impose upon these fine heroes to perform one last act here in your wondrous kingdom of Prismeer? And he holds out Star, the little displacer kitten, who has his favorite toy that you guys brought all the way from the Witchlight Carnival, the mirror ball, that he's now gripping tightly between his 6 paws. He says, "Good." He says, "Would you please see this little one back to his papa?"
Yes.
Zybilna nods her assent, and she takes Star and hands him over to Pickle.
Big is he?
He's not quite as big as Pumpkin, but he's fairly sizable.
He's pretty tiny.
Yeah, but you're the Witchlight Monarch. She says, now be a good kitten now, and don't give your dear old dear Legrand any more gray whiskers for a while. All right. And with that, she motions for those of you who are still here and still willing.
Can I just quickly say goodbye to everyone?
Yeah, sure.
It's been a pleasure traveling with you all. I'm going to remain here in Prismeer, though. Maybe I'll see you next year at the Witchlight Carnival?
Sure.
I'd love that.
It was a pleasure.
Miss you.
Yes. I'm staying here, yes.
It was a pleasure.
Yes, indeed.
An honor.
Yeah.
What the hero wish
Say the same thing. Tell her. I jest.
That's what that round full of kitten, but she'll
More or less.
Yes, I'll miss you all. Felina, please take care.
I'm gonna miss you.
I'll miss you. Got a lot of finding for myself to do, but I'm gonna be here. We're gonna win a lot of hide-and-seek tournaments with Little Wild and the Backyard crew. I don't think they're gonna be able to find a mouse that can teleport in gates.
Nice.
So, I'll see you next year.
Of course. I mean, you could stay with us.
Goodbye. Just till next time.
Promise.
Of course.
I'm gonna give him a big hug.
I'll return the hug.
Oh, you guys.
Adorable.
All right.
Alton, enjoy your new situation.
Anybody leaving, please bring back the recipes if you come back.
Face what, Red?
You're crying. You're crying.
Did you guys hear what Stuart said?
Yes. Bring back recipes. Anyone who's leaving.
Bring back the recipes.
Stuart's staying.
Yep, he's staying with them.
No,
You're leaving. I don't like this.
if we use this this spell, we can travel back and forth anytime we wish.
Isabella says, well, from the Witchlight Carnival, there's a different spell, which I believe you might have heard once before, but from this side, it's this incantation. So if you visit the Witchlight Carnival again and find your way into the Hall of Mirrors, speak the spell that Mr. Light and Mr. Witch taught you before all of this started, and you will once again find yourselves in Prismeer. No, don't cry, my little monarch.
Okay, cool.
It's gonna be okay.
So
see you again.
So Star sort of like and starts licking your face.
We'll go to Babylon's and I'll teach you to read, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Promise.
I promise.
Because.
Isabella says that is the most serious of all promises. You best not break it.
Okay, well.
And if you ever grow tired of my father, send him my way. I'd like to know him better someday.
He says, well, time flows a bit faster in the real world than it does here, but perhaps when he finds you, you'll be older and wiser.
Unlikely.
Well, you know what they say, past performance is the best indicator of future performance. And with that, she ushers you all through the portal, and you once more appear within the carnival's Hall of Mirrors, the sound of the calliope and the laughter of children greeting you. As you guys exit, the statue of Tasha that's outside that had tried to make you guys laugh when you first entered, instead turns and looks at all of you and just gives a wink. And from not far off, you hear, oh, you've got to be freaking kidding me! What is this? And you can see, where can I put Mike? There we go.
There, Mike.
Mike.
Just stick me in a corner somewhere.
There you go. You're in between them. So you can see that not far outside the Hall of Mirrors are all the chillins that you guys had left only who knows how long ago. You've been in the Feywild for almost 3 weeks at this point, at least by your own reckoning. But looking at them, they're still wearing the same clothes they were when you originally departed. They look over at you, and you can see that there's a couple additional children with them. There's it looks like it's a little tabaxi boy dressed up like a little poet, and there's also a little Kenku boy who looks like he's doing his best to be an edgelord.
So he looks like you.
You have to get inspiration from somewhere.
And
don't try to succeed.
Yeah, and you also see that Liliana is holding both of Eiglin, the little boy's hands. I don't have a picture of him, but Liliana is actually holding both of Eiglin's hands. And as you guys recall, she could not stand Eiglin, Vanna Era's younger brother. Oh, I forgot Vanna Era on this picture. Oh well. But the strange thing is, there's two Lilianas holding Eiglin's hands, each of which looks like a mirror image of the other. Although, as you're looking at them, one looks rather chagrined about this situation, while the other one looks endlessly amused by it. Upon seeing you guys, Alis reacts and voices her frustration. It's only been a few hours and you guys are back already? You made it sound like 50 years were going to go past. Sis, we should have totally gone with them. We could have had an adventure.
In 3 weeks for us.
Oh my gosh. And she just stamps her feet on the ground in frustration and storms off. But when she does, at that point, all of the others finally see Pickle walk forward, holding Star, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so cute! And you're just suddenly mobbed by half a dozen chillins who are like all obsessed with this. Before the two oldest children, Isaac and Vanna Era, are like, okay, break it up. That must be the kitten of the displacer beast who runs Lost and Found. We need to get him back to his parent. So they're like, oh, but okay, and they all accompany back to Dear Legrand to reunite him with his long lost son. Here's Dear Legrand, and he is overjoyed when he sees you guys. And while you're with them, Arvinder, who's Lily and Isaac's father, he congratulates you and says, I see that you've resolved your mission in the Feywild. Very, very good. It seems like you've done a lot of good and certainly brought home some joy for the children and for the adults as well. You should be proud of yourselves. And he says, I would love to hear some tales of your exploits. Perhaps back at your mother's hotel, the Grand Carnelian.
Absolutely, would make it perfect for everyone.
Indeed. Well, as you guys are beginning to head out, you do spy Mr. Witch and Mr. Light. They're currently in the middle of the conducting the festival and whatnot, but they see you, and Mr. Light heads over and very discreetly says, I don't suppose that you've had any success freeing our patron in Prismeer, have you?
Of course.
No. Excellent. Well, he says he shouts. He tries to quietly shout to Mr. Witch. He says, "They've done it. they really did it. Those maniacs actually did it." Mr. Witch is just like, please keep your voice down. We don't need to go alarming the entire festival, Mr. Light.
Do you need this back?
He says, no, of course not. That's yours forever. You are a perpetual Witchlight monarch and always welcomed at the carnival, no charge. But we don't have much time. Tell me, is Isabella happy? Is she okay? She's not considering having us trade this back for the Revelary? again with his
She
old...
told us. She seemed like she was in a pretty good mood.
Oh, excellent. And Mr. Witch comments, that's a great relief. And you can see that he's anxiously playing with the pocket watch that controls the carnival. He says, well, I'm quite content to keep doing this for as many years as we're permitted. I have little desire to return to the Shadowfell anytime soon. But perhaps we can talk more later. We have a festival to run. He says, gentlemen, ladies. And he tips his top hat to you. And as he goes, Zalric, give me a perception check. You suddenly feel the little hairs on the back of your neck stand on end, as if something is very close to you.
14.
14. You sense that something or someone is right behind you, and you turn around abruptly, and you see behind you, Gleam is standing there, and she's just giving you a kind of coy smile, and wearing her sort of crescent moon mask that you recall her having, and not far away, her twin sister.
Hey, mister. She's my sister.
Yeah. And not far away, her twin sister, Glister.
And Stuart
just
between them.
Stuart, get out of there. You got it.
Just two sisters,
Yeah.
5 feet apart.
Yeah.
Stuart in the middle.
Yeah. Let's get Stuart out of there for now. All right. You're down there. So, Glister, the pink-haired one, just kind of giggles and says, My, Gleam, that's one way to get his attention now, isn't it? And Gleam is just giving you a demure smile, and she asks, Would you like to take a walk around together? I've not actually gotten to go on all the rides before, since Glister and I are always performing.
Absolutely. Sounds like a wonderful time. I'd like to visit the carnival again.
Oh, I'd love that. And from the opposite side, you feel Glister hook her arm through yours, even as Glister is just kind of resting her head on your bicep, and Glister asks, "Shall I come along for a ride too, or would the two of you prefer to be alone? I'm good either way, and I bet you are too, right, Gleam?" But as Gleam just kind of leans her head on your arm and smiles, she says, "It's up to you, fine sir. But I would like to take in the moon and stars from one of the gondola swans."
Sounds like twice the fun.
Okay, so you want them both to come along?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and give me an insight check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard to read the room, but the two sisters both seem like they're happy enough in your company and don't mind doing a double date, a 1.5 date. I don't know what you call this really.
A throuple date.
Throuple date. Yeah. So
So many threes.
Yeah.
yeah.
The double mint twins.
That's why.
Double mint twins. Yeah.
That's why I always sing jingle over here.
Double mint. What's the spicy one? Big Red.
Yes.
That big red fresh mint is right through you.
This game is not sponsored.
This game is not, in fact, sponsored. Very much
You
not
would like to
sponsored.
sponsor us.
Couples are us.
You're a little late.
Couples are us. So for the next few hours until the sun is getting ready to come up, the three of you go all over the Witchlight Carnival. Gleam was really wanting to ride on the gondola swans, and she sort of kind of wanted to do it just with you. So Glister agrees to sit that one. Glister agrees to sit that one out. But then once you guys are done with that and have been strolling along peacefully for longer, she's like, well, why don't we do something with a little bit more exciting so we can use up some energy. I want to ride the dragonflies. And she drags you guys over to that, and Gleam sort of demurs away from that one while you guys buzz around on dragonfly back all over the carnival. But as the first light of dawn is starting to come up, they suggest that, well, I suppose we should head back to town. It's probably about time for us to turn in for the night.
I have a place we can rest.
Oh, do you?
No.
Back at the hotel, or
wherever we want.
Really?
Yeah. I'll give them a little peek into the little tent. I think we'll be fine here.
So they take a peek in, and Gleam is kind of looking at the swing inside, and says, I don't think the ceiling in here is high enough for us to do our trapeze act. And at that point, Glister leans over and whispers something into her ear, and your minty green elf friend just sort of turns almost as pink as her twin sister's hair, as she just sort of pushes you inside, and the flap closes over your tent, and then from the outside it just sort of fades into invisibility and disappears from everyone else's sight.
The tent is rocking. Don't come rocking.
We got to make a happy ending.
Wow. I mean, they're acrobats. They're very athletic. I'm sure they know. I'm sure they know massage. Yeah. Happy endings. Yeah.
Oh God.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, while the fair is still going on and sort of winding down, Pickle it's been a very long day, and between the suspect shenanigans of everyone else and the exhaustion of carrying around like Star and like the children like wanting to hang out with you because you're the same size that they are. It's been a long day. You end up heading back into town, and where you end up encountering, with the weight of the long day wearing down on you, you head back into Rizal from the Witchlight Carnival. But whether it's to seek out a bed at the Grand Carnelian or somewhere else, in your distraction, you sort of find yourself standing outside of Melon's big chest. There.
This isn't where I thought I was going.
There you can see that Bonk and Smokey are manning the shop, but they look practically bored to tears. Evidently, it's been very quiet. And Bonk looks up and like, "Hey kid, we were gonna play some cards with the boss since it's kind of slow. You want in?"
Tired.
Tired? Well, Smokey kind of peers over at you, and she says, "Wait, that doesn't look like sleep in your eyes." He says, "You getting all misty on me here, kid?" And she comes over and she kind of like licks her thumb and like wipes at your eyes, and she's like, "Oh crap! Did your eyes get infected by pixie dust while you were in Prismeer?"
Oh.
Hey, Melon! The butch kid's got something in her eyes. You better have a look.
No.
Bunk gives you a pat on the shoulders as Smokey lets off. And
don't do your adults. Everything that every time that everybody somebody says that and Wexley's there, they all turn to him. Nope.
Not it.
Adult.
Not it.
Not that adult.
Not it. So, Bonk, she gives you a pat on the shoulders. Healthy eyes are an important tool in any goblin's arsenal. There's a...
My friends said goodbye to me, and I'm just...
Hey, you listen to me. There's no shame in making sure your peepers are in tip-top shape. Now go on. And Bonk slaps you on the butt. But even as strong as you are, it feels like you're being tossed as easily as you could have tossed Wexley. And you just sort of get yeeted into the wagon. And Smokey from behind you yells, "Hurry up, we've got cards to play."
Where are you?
I guess I'm going to... This is my hotel. So I guess I'm nearby somewhere.
Yeah. So inside, Melon says,
Pizza.
Yeah.
I'm preoccupied.
So inside, Melon turns around. It looks like she was just touching up her makeup. And she says, "Well, hello, sugar. Pixie dust got you all teary-eyed, or are you just happy to see me again?"
I remember those things, but I'm just...
What you got on your mind, sugar? Oh, well, that's not so bad. If you want, you can come and join my handful. We've always got room for little green meanies. Yeah, although I must say you're a pretty sweet pickle if ever I met one.
There's only more bread and butter.
Oh dear.
Well, I wanted everybody to stay together, and now everybody's gone all different directions, and it sucks.
Well, that's kind of how the breeze blows. Sometimes you're a leaf on the wind. Sometimes the wind lands that leaf in a river, but the river flows on.
Sometimes it just blows.
Sometimes it just blows.
Well, I don't think I want to join or anything, because that's a lot of traveling, and I gotta look after my papa and that schmuck, and
That's all she has to say. She knows exactly what she's doing.
So, are you bringing up anything that you learned from the mirrors at Loom Lurch, or from what Zybilna revealed to you?
Later.
Okay.
And speaking of, well, so you okay, Mom?
She almost gouges herself in the eye with her mascara, with her mascara brush, and she says, "I'm sorry. What was that, sugar?"
So what had happened was...
and you relate what Zybilna told you.
Yes.
And she looks... You can see that you kind of shaken her out of her confident demeanor a bit.
Never mind.
And she says, just hold up there a minute, Missy. And she sort of runs her hands through your hair along your part, and you can feel you always had this kind of like little like bean or pickle shaped birthmark that was kind of raised up underneath where your hair was. And she feels up there and she says, "Well, sure enough, that's my little girl's birthmark." And she says, "Oh, well, sit down. This might be a while." And she pulls out a flask and a couple of shot glasses, and she fills them both up and passes one over to you. And
Apple water, thanks.
he says, I don't have a water jug in here, just my own. But and she says, well, so when you were just a little pickle, you were very sickly, and you just couldn't stay warm without my body heat. So I had learned from Zybilna of a magical elixir, well, alchemical in my case, but just the same. But the ingredients, the winter berries, could only be harvested during the first snow of winter. And so there I was, pregnant with a meal out in the middle of.
Sorry.
It's okay. Emil, I'm not sure if brother or sister. I'm not sure what applies to them. But they are a big sweetheart, and that's all that matters. But when I was pregnant with Emil, I was out there collecting components when suddenly this freak blizzard just blows in out of nowhere, and apparently in the whiteout I fell, and at this point Smokey, who apparently was listening from outside, pokes her head in and says, yeah, apparently Melon struck her head. So I, thinking that you were still on her, I went and carried her back to camp, only to discover after I put her to bed that you were missing. So I go back out in the storm, and I'm looking all over hell and creation, and I find the tracks, I find the bloody blanket, and all these wolf prints. So I follow the wolf prints through this blizzard, freezing my keister off, when the wolf prints, they come to a cliff. They don't go left. They don't go right. They just run right up to a cliff. And that's it.
Wow.
Given all of that, I only concluded that you must have that the wolf must have plunged over the cliff with you in its jaws while it was running through the storm. And so I thought you were gone. But given what you said, Zybilna said, that doesn't quite align right with what Smokey and I remember. So who knows? Maybe that blizzard was some sort of crazy spell that our favorite Fae Queen lost control over. Who's to say? Anyway, Zinni was the name that I wanted to give you, but the shaman said of our clan said that was no name fit for any good goblin, and that you should be called Dumpling instead. Anyway, Emil's your half sibling. We goblins aren't exactly known for our fidelity, especially not the men. But I'm pretty sure Emil would love to have a big brother. Big. Well, he'd love to have a big brother, but as brawny as you are, I think you'll do just fine.
Hey, but I still, my papa's still my papa.
He says, "Well, that's true, and that Raoul fellow seems very sweet. Although I'm not quite sure that countess or duchess rather he's been hanging out with is going to be a good fit long term. You might want to keep your peepers on that woman.
She's nice.
Oh, she certainly is easy on the eyes. I'll give her that. But anyway, why don't we have a couple brewskis to pass the time?
I don't drink that stuff.
Right, tea.
What?
right. So she ends up brewing you some tea, and you're there for a good long while. And when you finally head out and are on your way back to the inn, you actually see Karina heading back into town, and she's by herself. She upon seeing you, Karina says, why hello there, little pickle. Oh, if you're wondering where your father is, he's at home nursing a concussion and probably a hangover at this rate. Some of the Glovelly's sore losers attempted to ambush us on the way to his new estate, and I got a bit carried away. There were a couple children, a little cat boy, a little raven boy. They were intent on going to see Madrick Roslov at his pumpkin farm. For what purpose, I don't know. But feeling bold, Raoul wanted to impress me by helping them, and we sort of set out in the middle of the night to escort them when we got jumped. But anyway, he might have sort of gotten a little bit freaked out by my unique gifts, and you see magic crackle from her hands, and she sort of fires off some eldritch blasts, and over on the edge of town, a gigantic tree just sort of splinters and keels over.
That's pretty cool.
He says, "Well, I did have a good teacher. I don't know if you know this, but I actually grew up in the Feywild, Prismeer, as a matter of fact."
We were just there.
Yes, I'm well aware. Anyway, your father's a good man, but I'm probably a bit more than he bargained for. Have you heard the fable of the two pots? Well, as the story goes, two pots were swept up in a river, one of metal and the other clay. Finding themselves near to one another, the metal pot suggested they should travel together. After all, the metal pot was strong and self-certain it could handle whatever came at them. But while that sounded nice, in theory, the clay pot, being possessed of more wisdom than fortitude, implored the metal pot to keep its distance, saying, "For whether the current crashes me into you, or you into me, in either case, I shall be the one who is broken." Anyway, the moral of the story is, the more fragile partner is always going to be the one to suffer when the river of life gets rough. Your father, Raoul, he's a brave and sweet man, but I'm pretty sure he'll suffer the worse than a broken heart if he stays swept up in my currents. Anyway, and she just sort of pats you on the cheek. Good talk? Well, I really must be going. I have 2 reasons why no spawn shall breach these hips to corral. Good night, dear Picala, and help your father find a woman he can grow old with. I'm pretty sure my patron has something else in mind for me anyhow. And as she goes off, you just hear her yelling, "Avis! Alexis! Over here right now!" Come here.
Oh.
It sucks.
Aw,
Sounds like someone we need to eliminate. Wait, we're not there.
You are not there.
No, there are 3 of us at least that are not there.
Before the sun can start to rise, a blistering heat fills the air, and Valena, you see 2 tiny figures appear. The fairy dragon, Sir Talavar.
Yes! He's back!
Trying to ask him at the edge. And another familiar figure.
That is Dink.
Ah, where'd you go? Oh no, hold on. Can't get back here. So the fairy dragon, Sir Talavar, and the familiar pixie war mage, the ineffable infamy herself. Dink!
I will approach them and I'll curtsy them and say, "Think, Sir Talbot, how are you doing?"
Dink turns to Sir Talvar and says, "All right, Tal, this is supposed to be my day off, so make it quick." And Talvar says, "Ah, yes, of course. We are doing quite well, and it is ever so delightful to see you again, Miss Valena. I do see that your companion, Pip, is no longer by your side. Do they fare well?"
Yeah, well, Pip wanted to go and discover himself a little bit more, so...
Oh, I see. Very good, very good. You know, it is important for a thespian such as myself, or an actor, or, whatever he was, to engage on a journey of self-discovery. So I am thoroughly impressed by his decision and his gusto in going out on his own. And at this point, Dink just shakes her head and she says, "All right, give me that." And she just she yanks off like an ivory scroll case that he had in his hand, pops the tube, and begins reading. All right. By decree of Titania, Empress of the Summer Court, the adventurer known as Valena and Pip, she's just or I guess just Valena, are hereby to be conveyed to the Teardrop Hall of Lancerella, Queen of Shrell, with all due alacrity for the pronouncement of Her Majesty's Fiddlesticks. And as she's reading it, she's so agitated that the heat coming off her and being fanned by her wings, the whole scroll just goes up in smoke in an instant, and suddenly it's just cinders blowing on the wind. And she says, "Well, that happened. Anyway,
Do you want to maybe get a new one of those, or are you going to be okay?"
I'm fine. Tal, do the thing. I don't suppose there's anybody here you need to say goodbye to first?
So Valena is going to look around, and it looks like all of her companions basically disappeared on her.
Oh. Everyone sort of wandered off now that you're back in the mortal world again. So, yeah, at the moment it looks like it's just you. Oh.
I'm certain that they're all alright. Will this be quick?
She says, well, if you ask me, nothing that the rulers of the Feywild do is ever quick. But, who am I to say? I'm just busy all the freaking time and never get a day off. She just sort of slugs Talabar in the shoulder and says, "Oh, be careful! I bruise easily."
Well, perhaps you could enjoy a little bit of the carnival before we head off to wherever we have to head off to.
Yeah, I kind of rather just get you home so I can resume my day off. And Talavar just says, "I'm terribly sorry for her dreadful demeanor." He says, "I promise we'll try to make this as quick as possible and have you home in..." I don't know the idiom, but anyway, we'll try to make it quick. And with that, he suddenly starts spinning around, doing his portal trick like the previous fairy dragon you had encountered, and you suddenly find yourselves back in Sherelle. Where did that window go? Whoop, there we go. I'll just move you all the way for now. Once more, you find yourself standing in the courtyard of the Crystal Palace built within a cocoon. Dink and Talavar fly ahead of you towards the throne room as Fey courtiers bow in deference to you as you pass by them. Within the throne room, you see Queen Aralancerella seated on a silvery throne. On a silvery throne. Where did I go? Oh, on a silvery throne that's shaped like a cross between an oversized champagne flute. Oh no, she's allergic to fairies. You're in the wrong place, lady.
Normal sneeze as opposed to one.
Yeah, me too.
Her throne is basically like a cross between a giant champagne glass and a giant foxglove flower.
I'll of course curtsy in front of her.
She bows her head in acknowledgement, and at your approach, she stands. And between you can see giant petals blossom into the steps that lead up to her throne. And you can see in her delicate hands a black scepter with a silver finial, the device that she bears when making official proclamations. My dear friends, and she extends a slender hand to the windows off to the side of the palace throne room. And through it, you can just faintly see the Palace of Heart's Desire in the difference through the boughs of the giant sycamore tree that comprises the domain of Shirel. I see that not only was your mission to investigate the disappearance of Prismeer successful, but so too was your journey of self-discovery. It is an honor to call someone of such bravery and one blessed by our sacred allies, the unicorn, as our friend. And she places a hand over her heart and she nods her head to you, and everyone else in the chamber follows suit. But before I get ahead of myself, there's someone that I would like you to meet. Lancerella motions to Dink, who flutters over and looks down at you with a very serious expression before a blinding flash of light fills the hall, prisming off of every crystal in service. Gasps of awe fill the air, and as your vision clears, in Dink's place, you see another figure, grander than any other fairy you've ever seen before. And you can hear Talavar exclaim, "All bow before her resplendent imperial majesty, Empress of the Summer Court, Titania!"
I will, of course, follow suit with bowing.
Yeah, pretty much everyone in the here, even Queen Lancerella, bow and genuflect in deference to the Queen of all fairies. Lancerella, Talavar continues and says, "You are all permitted to gaze upon Titania, and you, of course, invited to remain kneeling." But Titania waves her hands and motions for you specifically, along with Queen Lancerella, to regain your feet. She says, "That's quite enough, good Talavar. We are among friends." And she turns to Queen Lancerella and says, "Please clear the hall. I wish to speak with Elwyn alone." And with that, Lancerella dismisses everyone from the hall and follows suit, exiting her own throne room to leave you alone with the Empress of the Feywild. And she says, "Tell me, now that your clandestine mission of infiltration is complete, who exactly is Zybilna, and where did she come from? Is she any threat to the Feywild?"
May incite her.
You can certainly try.
Spy the whole time?
The whole time.
Yeah.
11 plus whatever.
Probably not going to get this.
From out of nowhere, the Siri wife's like,
It looks like a +5.
yes.
So 16. So you get the impression that she is looking. You get the impression that she's firstly concerned with the safety and integrity of the Feywild. That seems to be her chief concern here.
Well, certainly seem very nice. I couldn't really say.
I see. Well, what of her warlocks? Madrick Roslov, Kettle Stream, Elysian Kiermoon, and Benito Abambutoz. Give me a history check.
I know definitely Benito.
You're old.
7 plus whatever my history is.
It's not super high, but you've been traveling with Benito, and you also, when you reconnoitered with the Chillins and whatnot, you remember the name. You remember the name Kiermoon because that's Alis and Alexis's last name. Kettle Stream was the Kenku warlock of Zybilna that you encountered at the Witchlight Carnival a few weeks ago, who was raising a ruckus and trying to disrupt all of the acts and everything to try and get attention. Madrick Roslov is where you and Pip originally encountered Benito at the magical pumpkin farm out in the woods. But Elysian Kiermoon, you don't remember that. That sounds like Alis and Alexis's mother, but it's Duchess Karina Rowan, who is also a warlock. Not her.
Sure. I of course will relay all that sort of information to her.
He says,
give my impression of that, at least, like, the children are very, very sweet, perhaps a little ruckus. Benito is nice in his own ways.
Well, that's about the nicest thing. That sounds about right.
Impressive. Mega kill.
He's nice in his own way.
You're gonna need some ointment for that, boy. You suddenly feel a chill as if someone just stepped across your grave and took a giant dump on it.
Glad I'm not there.
I thought I was the fire user here.
Yeah, shit. So, well, you explain that you don't know of Elysian Kiermoon, but do have met Karina Rowan. She something seems to dawn on her. She says many years ago in the real world, we attempted to protect the princess of the dynasty of the Sky Elves from machinations that are beyond anyone who lives within the world of Elsamar. But it appears that the child must have been switched at birth with this human duchess you speak of. What is Zybilna up to? She says, while Isolde remains trapped in the realm of dread, Zybilna continues to dispatch the Witchlight Carnival to suspect locations throughout creation. Do you think it's possible that she seeks the power of the idly? You have never heard of that term before. You have no idea what that is.
I couldn't say, but I mean, she was very grateful that we freed her and had bestowed upon us many gifts, including my memories.
Oh, so you do remember then. Excellent. That is indeed valuable. But you have no memory of this.
No, I'm sorry, Your Majesty.
Well, surely it can be no coincidence that she sent the Witchlight Carnival here to such a small town inhabited only by the wealthy, and so close to some rather suspect ancient ruins that I do believe you ventured there yourself at one point, along with your Pip, the giant head in the sea. And you recall that goblin fortress that you guys had gone to back during the prologue. It was like this colossal. It almost like a giant stone head.
The one we infiltrated so successfully?
Yes, exactly.
With no issues.
With zero issues whatsoever. And definitely didn't TPK. No TPKs.
Nothing happened.
Nothing of the sort.
All was fun.
Yeah, that's totally that, wasn't it?
You would have saved us.
I made one mistake.
So, one thing. So she says, surely it can be no coincidence her calling it a small town like this, so close to such a peculiar ancient ruin. She says, at last, tell me, what do you know of the world of Elsamar and the so-called elves who claim it as their home? You can if you want.
15.
15?
Stuff.
Plus stuff?
To stuff.
They look like any elves you've seen from any of the other many worlds that you've been to in the past.
Nothing particular sticking out to me.
No. But again, you sort of came to Elsamar, and all you've really seen is this one little town because you had dwelled in the Feywild up until recently, at least before your memories were restored. So they don't seem particularly different from anyone else.
They seem like elves people. Really?
He says, oh, my sweet summer child, we have much to talk about. While the rest of you are occupied with those near and dear to you, what you don't see is a tall elven prince with white hair and a strange ancient bronze brooch walking the halls of the Grand Carnelian, his finger tracing its runes as the black crystal at its center glistens. Coming up to a door that would have been well familiar to Veneto as his mother's chamber, he knocks twice and is quickly greeted. Ah, my dear Pravma, there's a small business transaction I had in mind now that your adventurous son has returned. I had an itch to visit that ruin they so recently found. Patersbald, was it not? And that is where the campaign will end.
Oh, nice.
Nice. To be continued.
So what was your thing?
I was going to be having at the well, you may do it. Are you going in there? Yeah. All right.
Don't worry, I'll keep that.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. So what were you going to say?
I was going to say Benita is back at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And he's by himself, so he walks out into the parlor where the bar is and everything else. He realizes he's got his wealth returned to him and a status. Everything that he wanted when he began all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks around and sees all kinds of possibilities here for him to enjoy. And he thinks back on the time he had with his friends, and he realizes that was the first time in his life where anybody ever depended on him. First time anybody ever needed him.
Aww. Sounds like you might need to get the gang back together.
He goes up to the bar, orders a stiff drink, and sits down, pulls out his pipes, and plays a lonesome song.
And I would say that by this point, Pickle has probably found her herself in the bar as well if she so chooses.
Oh, there you are.
Wow. You've made it. Back to the hotel. Good to see you. What?
Yeah.
You singing all?
No, I would never try.
Let's give it a try.
Hey.
All right. I love it. All right. So I think that's pretty much a wrap for The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. This was a hell of a challenge doing all this stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Feels like about 2.5 years of ceaseless upgrades. All right.
I got a speech.
All right.
okay.
Let me get you back on screen here.
Speech.
All right, look, this is the first time I've played for this extended period of time in decades. Okay, normally I'm the DM, and I just wanted to say that this has been quite insightful and helpful for me in what I'm going to do, which hopefully is not just for my kids, but run some stuff online for others as well. I really appreciate not just the everyone getting into character and role playing extremely well, but Mike's effort in putting this together, his craftsmanship, is treating this, running an adventure, running a campaign as a craft, and really throwing everything he can into it, all of his skills, everything from the voices to the storytelling to the table building, for crying out loud, right? And just making sure that the environment is as useful and welcoming and functional and without getting in the way of the story. Okay? So, kudos to Michael for doing a really good job.
You guys, you're going to make me blush.
Hey, I was an RPGA judge. I worked with some of the original TSR staff back in the day.
Oh, nice.
And back Gen Con 84, right? And I like I say, I got some old friends there, and basically the spirit of what the game is about is what was exhibited here, right? So, good job, Michael and all.
I appreciate it. It was great. It was great getting to play with everybody. I need to take a break before I do something else. I think that someone else had some suggestions at that point.
Okay. So, for those who can normally play in person, I know that's a challenge for everybody, but I am looking at running a short 4 to 6 session campaign, possibly an extra one for being a session 0, depending on what we play. Preferring to play a system called Blades in the Dark, which, if you are not familiar with, a large, you are play as a new group of bandit, thieves, thugs, assassins. It really kind of gives you a lot of room as to what your party kind of specializes in, but it is all very roguish in a Venice / Victorian European style setting. It is low fantasy with a light magic and ghost setting. I am also willing to run a Marvel D100 system game where we'll be able to randomly roll your powers, and that's what you're stuck with.
Is that Mutants and Masterminds? Or?
No, it's not. No, it's an old system by somebody named Jeff Grubb. Those of us who've been around in the world long enough. Yes, exactly. Know who Jeff Grubb is.
Yeah.
It was actually his first RPG system.
I know what you're talking about.
Also run a 3.5
I have a small module that from an old 3.5 system that for D&D I'm willing to run through. It's an easy 3 to 5 sessions, or I can come up with something for a Fitbit. But my preferred would be either doing Blades in the Dark or the Marvel B100. And again, I'm looking for about 4 to 6 players and looking to play in person on the same or similar schedule.
Blades in the Dark sounds fun to me.
Yeah.
I believe I know one Marguerite Sangarosa who might fit him well.
Oh, that would be great.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do this to give Michael a break from DMing, because being the forever DM is, as some of us know, is
Emmett
always
knows that.
a problem. Yeah. And also give him time to prepare for whatever he's going to throw at us next, which seems rather devious.
Yes, it does.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Oh, it's